Even out, settle scores quick. Our disaster recovery requires even more discs. Put your pipes up, prove it or you forfeit. Got my C64 and we blew it into orbit. M. Bison with 8 straight perfects. Overboard emotions make hate break circuits. In case you heard, it's a name fake service. Optimize our runtime to escape verdicts. Got an integer scope flow that they can't sign. Passing code, didn't sanitize command lines, landmine. So before they'll see me after, I'm advice star, courage, woke plus velociraptor. Don't prove we're human unless we really have to. My team built schemes that destroy, recapture. Hate what they see. Finish this chapter. By the way, we're not any geeks, we hack into NASA. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Got this vodka and this Red Bull, they still give me wings. So we drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. 0 through 3, we're in every single ring. I'm just waiting till my BlackBerry dies, cause I'll replace it with the Raspberry Pi. Don't compare to this track, it makes everything they said dull. Neutralize any threat, turn Red Skull to Dev Null. They killed virus writers that we mentioned, but instead they ascended to the VX heavens to reincarnate as live wires. Still inside we hide ciphers and sign device drivers. Which school will we hit next? They didn't learn the format, so we've got to print F. Next step is a chin check. Freestyles that I spit best, they didn't decrypt yet. I crush internet MCs and rhyme battles. Get your Wi-Fi tackled, hacked by pineapple. I don't think you'll like my Snapple, cause I popped it with vodka in a cyanide capsule. We drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Got this vodka and this Red Bull, they still give me wings. So we drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things.
You know there's gonna be security, right?
First we drink all the booze, then hack all the things. Then backdoor the firmware on anything you bring, regardless of the hardware, service or encoding. Connected to the internet and someone's gonna own it. This is for the pirates that clap and love the sound. Attacking from the cloud, then we're back in underground. There's no masking from us now. We pop tornadoes around the globe, track and hunt you down. Packed on schedule, add it to your calendar. Devices online, here comes another challenger. State infiltrated, so undercover. This is for my comrades who stare at the debuggers and trace every buffer. Examining the code flow, haven't been to sleep, better pop another no-dose. I think I'll need a planet-sized urn, cause some men just wanna watch the world burn. Your turn.
Stay out of jail.
Technologically possible, yeah.
Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Got this vodka and this Red Bull, they still give me wings. So we drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. 0 through 3, we're in every single ring.
I mean, these servers have more firewalls than the devil's bedroom.
Hack all the things. Drink all the booze. Hack all the things. Hack all the things. Hack all the things. Things. 0 through 3, we're in every single ring. Hack all the things.
Yeah, well, good luck, man.
They still give me wings. Drink all the things. Drink all the vodka and pack all the booze. Drink all the booze. Hack all the hackers. Hack all the hackers.
Not every geek with a Commodore 64 can hack into NASA.
This one's dedicated to all the hackers. Yo, even out, settle scores quick.
A disaster. Oh, hi, hello, welcome everyone. Welcome back to another UHC YouTube 8 Hacking Championship CTF tonight. I'm your host here at UHC English channel. For those who don't know me, I'm Marina Chavada. I'm a social engineer from Brazil. So if you see me struggling a little bit with English tonight, it's just because it's not my mother language. Also because I'm probably going to curse a lot. I learned English by watching sitcoms. So you can imagine all kinds of crazy shit that I've watched on TV. All right, so UHC is back for one more round. Is our 19th edition tonight. So each week we have a new edition. UHC CTF is run by Hacking Esports, which is a Brazilian company. The creator, Igor Rincon, founded the Hacking Esports company and turned UHC into its first hacking championship, because the plan is to turn CTF into an official esports on the long run, using CTF as a learning platform, engaging as many people as possible during the live streams. So having narrators on the live CTF is something that, is not super common. It's actually quite rare to see. So because of that, we kind of believe that UHC is a pioneer, and we hope more CTFs maybe will join us in doing live streams. There is a whole set of the UHC social media profiles if you want to know a little bit more about, what is the Ultimate Hacking Championship. We use Instagram for news, LinkedIn for partnerships, YouTube for past editions. So if you don't want to miss everything that happened before, you can go on YouTube. There's Twitter as well, and there's also the Discord server. Now, in the Discord server, you can meet all of the players and UHC fans, and you can even play the qualifying round, because that's where it happens. So every Saturday, there is the qualifying round happening on Discord, and that's how the challengers qualify to play tonight live on Twitch for the money prize, the cash prize. And so if you want to meet new people and play CTF or be part of UHC in any way, as a competitor or even as a narrator, be sure to join the Discord server and follow UHC on the social media profiles. If you want to get those links, you can just comment on chat, !! commands, and you can get all those links there. So I would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors and partners. As you can see, they're like up here. Yee. So we have X Labs, and we have CrawlSec, and we have Bug Hunt, and we have Hackathink. They're all Brazilian companies. X Labs is actually looking for hiring people, so that's pretty cool. They came to UHC to look for new talents for their teams. CrowdSec is a pen test academy / company, so that's pretty nice. They teach people how to use their CTF skills to actually work. Bug Hunt is a bug bounty company, so they also, recruit a lot of people that play CTFs. And Hackathink, which is my company, we are a marketing and communications and trainings company focused solely on InfoSec and technology, because we know it's very hard to communicate about security. So since it's not super common that you'll see a CTF live around on Twitch, we thought that was a huge thing, and we wanted to be part of that. That's pretty much it. And I am going to invite my co-host here. Also, before the co-host jumps in, I would like to thank the staff that we have tonight. We always have staff on their backstage helping us. So Isa from Hacking Esports, thank you so much. She's right here on the private chat with us. And now I'm gonna ask for my prettiest hostess of all times. Come on, husbando. There he is. Look at that pretty smile.
I don't know. I think there's some competition. I think there might be some other folks that are more pretty than me on this particular.
Bitch, not on my live stream. You take my compliment.
Okay.
So introduce yourself, please.
My name is Int80. I'm a rapper in Dual Core. You might also know me as Marina's husband, and that's what I'm most famous for. And then thirdly, I have a mustache, and that's about it, really. I hack computers for a living, and I make rap music about it. And it's me with a guy from the UK, C64. Together, we are Dual Core, and you can find our music pretty much anywhere that you get music: Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music. I guess Google Play is going away or something, so maybe not there anymore. But Pirate Bay, wherever you get your music, you can find our stuff. In my free time, I like playing CTF. I actually may have spent too much time getting shells last night, and so kind of had a late night. But I am here for UHC this week and tonight, and I am super excited for it.
All right, so you should definitely check it out. Dual Core's albums everywhere. It's insane. I have never ever in my entire life thought that I would just throw hacking into any music, social media, and it actually would come back with really fucking dope music, and the lyrics would be talking about hacking. So that's something right there. So you should definitely check it out. Plus, it's pretty cool if you're a gamer out there. If you like, if you're here because you also like esports, you have probably already played Watch Dogs. Maybe we played Watch Dogs 2, and Dual Core is on the official soundtrack. So maybe you already heard them, and that's pretty cool.
Super cool, and it was an awesome surprise, and it's been amazing being in the video game, and it's been quite an experience playing a video game on a TV and then hearing my music come out of it. Skunkworks in the chat asking about, can our music be used in streams? Yes, definitely. I'm totally good with that. I don't have any restrictions about it. I think where like people get caught up with streaming stuff is like when the record labels come after them, but we publish all of our own stuff. And I love that folks enjoy our music. So I'm not in the business of going after anybody for playing our music. So knock yourself out. And also love the name Skunkworks.
All right, so now we're gonna have an amazing special guest for tonight. I am so freaking fucking excited because I fucking love her, and I am her like #1 fan. I'm like fangirling extremely hard right now. I'm like sweating. So I'm gonna bring her here. We're gonna bring Lit Moose. Hi, Moose.
Hey, so this isn't just my camera that's off. You made me turn bright red before I joined the chat. That wonderful introduction. I don't think I've ever been introduced like that before. My name, I go by Moose, Lit Moose on Twitter. I volunteer for the collegiate cyber defense competition here in the US as a red teamer, but by day I do digital forensics and incident response. So I work on the other side of it. I love both. I like mixing both. I am a firm believer that to be good at one, you have to do the other. So really just super excited about tonight and seeing all of the very incredible hacking talent and hard work that goes into this CTF. And very, very excited that somebody's going to go home with a cash prize, because that sounds like the coolest thing that's never happened to me. So
yes.
also to be on with two of my favorite people. It's been close to a year since we've all been in the same room. So that while that makes me sad, it's nice to be in the same stream. So this is entirely too cool. And I double down on the, if you haven't already checked out Dual Core music, I have worked some really hard cases lately, and I always have that in my headphones, especially if I'm mad about some findings. So.
Thank
That's
you.
perfect.
I appreciate it.
All right, so about the cash prize that we've been talking about, it's nothing, it's the cash prize is obviously in reais, which is the Brazilian currency, and because it is a Brazilian championship, I know for a fact that the staff is trying to develop as many bilingual or English focused challenges and machines as they can, because more and more people want to play it now. But still, it's a Brazilian company, it's a Brazilian staff, so cash prize is also in reais. So if you're playing from the US, the cash prize is like 500 reais, which is like maybe $100 now. I mean, it's still pretty cool. If you win like all the weeks around, you're gonna end up with 300 or $400 in your pocket.
Yeah, and with
Not bad.
$100, you could buy a pizza for Brymore Labs.
That's accurate.
Brymore Labs with $100 pizza.
The fuck? There's of course people that hire the champions. It's not something very unusual to see. Most of the champions also join the staff somehow, helping to build the machines, because every qualifying round and every live stream, every live championship has original machines developed just for that week. So every week it has to be new machines for the qualifying round and for the live stream round, which are like Saturday and Sunday. So it's a like very heavy lifting. It's like quite a work there. So the champions usually join the staff, helping with the infrastructure whenever they can. If they're not gonna play, then they might join the stream as well as narrators or commentators. So that's pretty nice. It's like it's a community that feeds itself, that helps itself growing, and I just think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love the organic growth here. We've seen players, as you mentioned, Marina, we've seen players come on to be hosts. We've seen players help out building challenges. And then we've seen players that return and continue to like win or participate. And so I love that the community just kind of builds on itself and they all build each other up.
That is pretty cool. Actually, I just remembered the English live stream started exactly like that. The English live stream started with one of the champions, this Brazilian dude. He's been living outside Brazil for a long time now, and he found UHC out of nowhere, and he played and he won. And he was like, "Hey, I live outside Brazil, and like I would speak English fluently. I think all my friends would like, to watch that. Do you want me to do like a English version of that?" And the UHC people were like, "Yeah, sure." And that's how it started. So that's pretty nice that now we're like in the 19th edition with y'all, which are pretty fucking amazing to me. All right.
Yeah, it's been an excellent ride, and I like seeing the variety of challenges that the creators come up with each week. I mean, it's wild to me that any team can make 2 CTFs in the course of a week. The Saturday preliminaries are completely separate from the Sunday finals. So
Yep.
like, I mean, I've built a number of CTFs in my lifetime, and I can't fathom making 2 CTFs in 1 week.
That's unheard of. That's absolutely unheard of.
And we see all kinds of challenges. There's like a wide variety. It's not like they just kind of keep going after the same attack vectors week after week. There's like all different kinds of stuff. We had 1 week that was like all AWS based. Like once somebody got the access keys, then it was all like, how well can you find stuff in AWS? And it was using the AWS APIs. And that's like completely, like I've never seen a CTF that does that. So I love that there's just so much variety, and it just kind of keeps growing.
All right. So let's go then for our competitors presentation. And let me just, all right, we have like a beautiful transition here on the slides, I guess. 19th edition. And all right, let's get to know whoever qualified yesterday for today. It's David's favorite player right here.
Yes. Moose, how do you think this first name is pronounced?
Really? We're gonna do that?
Yeah. Welcome. It's trial by fire. Welcome to Brazilian name pronunciation.
Hold on. Let me Google this real quick.
Oh boy, do the Google voice in this.
Is it wow?
No, that's how David says it.
Oh, then I failed already.
No, you said it correctly.
Nope. That's not how this works. So this name is pronounced João. João Ribeiro. That's how you say this name. I keep saying to David, it's like, that it's not that hard. You're a rapper. You keep saying that all the time. You're doing That's the same kind of noise that you have to do. But for y'all Americans, I know that this sound can be very hard. So what I advise is for us to use the translation of his name, which is João to English is John, and Ribeiro in English would mean something that exists by the river, a construction by the river, or anything by the river. So we just call him John Rivers.
Aww. João is such a prettier name.
I personally like to do the pronunciation and just say Joao, but it's like Owen Wilson, where it's like Joao.
Wow. There it is.
Oh shit! There's like energy drink in my nose now.
Do that this entire night, just whenever this comes up. Wow, because that's great. Wow.
Oh my god! Just
Marina's married to me. Also, I love in the chat. Apparently, if you do 3 emojis, totally acceptable. If you do 4 emojis, the bot thinks you're spamming.
Yes.
Yeah, our bot is very rude, y'all. We're very sorry for the bot. It's very rude. It's a bad bot. All right, so our next player, it is who the hell is it? Felipe Vasco. All right, he was a newcomer in the last edition, right? In the last week, and now he's back.
I think so. Yeah. Welcome back.
Welcome back, Felipe. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I got this like thing now that I say Brazilian names with the American accent. Felipe.
Oh.
That's his name.
You've been in Texas too long.
Yeah. I keep saying howdy to people in the street. That's fucked up.
With that accent, that's actually hilarious. Keep doing it.
We have Wade. All right, Wade is not a newcomer at all. Wade is actually a lot of times winner, I guess, or at least he is at least once a winner once. I don't remember, but he's not a newcomer. He's quite a heavy player here.
Oh shit! It's Michael Kill.
Oh crap! Look who's there.
Oh hey!
All right, hello, Michael Kill.
Hi, Michael. I miss you.
We all miss you.
It's true.
Michael is going to get a T-shirt that has a wall of text on it for when we get to play shows again. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait.
All right, so our next player tonight is Yagod. It's just a pun with the name Iago, which is a kind of a common Brazilian name, and he put the D in the end there, so he's now is Yagod. Oh, this kids.
Yeah. You get to pretend you're a Wu-Tang rapper when you say their name. Yeah, God.
Yeah, God. Jesus Christ. We have big O's, big zeros, yes, big whatever the fuck you can. I don't know how you can say that shit.
Us.
I just say big.
It sounds like anime. It sounds like something weeby. Big.
Yes.
Like I'm sorry, I'm a nerd. Like that's the only place I can go with this.
I love it. Oh man, this is so good. Okay, so next one is what the hell is this? LFOD, I guess.
Local file of doom. I don't
All
know.
right.
What do y'all think?
Yeah, nice.
I have no freaking idea. We have Hafax00 Hafa. Also, all those players are newcomers, right? I've never heard their names before. Oh, Big actually played a few rounds already.
Yep.
Yeah.
So very cool.
And Yago as well also played a few ones. But
Yep.
LFOD and Hafa are newcomers tonight. We have our dear Luska. Luska's not a newcomer. We've been cheering for Luska to win in addition for a long time now. He's getting better and better as time goes by, so it's just beautiful to watch him develop on screen. We have PA Jax. Never heard of him.
I'm gonna say Phoenix, just because I think that's like the airport code for Phoenix.
I just
I don't think a Brazilian would go there, but hey, also a newcomer. We have Maxin, also a newcomer. Wow, a lot of newcomers tonight. This is nice.
That's awesome.
New blood.
Yeah, and I think we had 1 week where somebody on their first time playing did win. I think it was Silesian. Does that sound right?
Yeah, Silesian, and then he became like a god in the UHC because it was like so beautiful. It was just a beautiful win right there. And that's it. We have all of our players, and I know for a fact that UHC has officially started already. So I am gonna stop sharing my screen here, and we're gonna go for the Discord server right now.
And so, folks who are joining us, the way that everything works kind of on the backside of things is all of the players are kind of in their own like isolation booth on Discord. And then from our vantage point in the channel, we can select on any individual player and see their screen. But the players are all isolated from each other, so they can't watch each other's screens to figure out what they're doing. I guess they could see something through one of the streams, but we're able to move freely, selecting each player and watching what they're doing. And then we just kind of comment on what's happening, what we're seeing on screen, and how that might apply in terms of hacking or playing CTF, etc. So yeah, that's kind of how it works.
All right. So we're just gonna jump from room to watch each player's screens, and so they can't interact with each other. So they are locked into their own rooms here, and they can't interact with us as well. But they can watch our streams, both of our streams, the Brazilian one and the English one. And we don't know what the challenges are. So we might or might not give any hints while we are commenting, and throughout the game. And it's and that's part of the mind games there, because they have 3 hours tonight, max, to complete all the 3. I think it's 3 or 4 flags. I want to say 3 flags tonight. And they have like a very short period of time. If you ever knew what CTFs are, if you ever saw CTF, 3 hours for a CTF is like not enough time. Like a very short period of time. And they already have like as little time as possible. They would have to pay attention to both of the streams, and they would also have to pay attention to the scoreboard a lot. So for those who don't have the scoreboard link, you can check the scoreboard with us through the night. I just posted here on our chat. I am highlighting the scoreboard here on our screen if you wanna check that out. So the way things work here is whoever gets the points first has advantage. So they are running against each other. They are also trying to listen to both of the streams. They are also trying to solve the flags at the same time. So this is like straight up mind games here.
Multitasking AF.
Yeah, it's all about strategy. So some people try to, solve the root flag right away. Some people sit on flags and don't submit the flags as soon as they get it. It is like all of those are risky strategies, because here in UHC, whoever gets the points first has advantage. So at the end of the night, if everyone has the same flags and they're like tied up on the scoreboard, whoever got the flag first is the winner. So they are also running against time. It's like it's a crazy thing, and they have up to 3 hours. So 3 hours is max, but that doesn't mean it's always 3 hours. So whoever gets the root flag, all the flags plus root flag, won, and that's it. And we end the championship right there. Sometimes it went up to an hour and a half. There was this time where one of the players just finished in like 20 minutes. The whole 3 flags in 20 minutes. That was just insane.
Yeah. That was the AWS one. It was incredible.
It's like anyone's game. We're just here to watch and enjoy. That's pretty much it.
That's somebody who spends a lot of time in the cloud, and I'm impressed by it. And also, I weep for them, because so do I. I'm so sorry to whoever won that week, because that's...
It's like, I'm so sorry for what your life must be like to be able to win an AWS CTF in 20.
And most of the players are like just kids. They're like 15, 16, 17 years old. It's just insane. These kids are like extremely freaking talented.
I can already tell. I've been distracted starting to watch these streams, and I'm already seeing web fuzzers. I'm seeing like it's just going at it already. I'm insanely impressed. So I think this has got to be the best position to be in, by the way, to be commentating on a CTF and have no stress. And
yes.
Like, I just want to let everybody know right now that this is the dream, and I don't want to wake up. Like,
yeah.
Tomorrow is Monday. I don't want it to be Monday. Like, let's just stay here for a little while.
That is for sure the case. I can tell you, it's been a number of times where I've seen a player doing something and I'm like, oh yeah, this is easy. Like, you just do this and then you'll find this thing. And it takes them like 3 or 5 minutes to do that, where I'm like, oh, this would just be like 30 seconds. But I'm not the one playing the CTF. I'm not the one with the entire world watching me stream my screen live on the internet. So yeah, let's see. I think right now on the stream, we have Felipe's screen up, and it looks like they found a Git directory, like a .git directory or a Git repo on the web application that's, I guess, part of the first challenge, which I'm guessing, I didn't see how they got that, but I'm guessing they probably just got it through normal enumeration like FUF or GoBuster or whatever. And then it looked like they were trying to loot that Git repo, which is always a good move. Moose, I'm with you watching Big.
Yeah,
and
using FUF, and that's why I was like, this is the way to go. This is awesome. Like, also just very therapeutic for me watching it and not doing it.
or not investigating it.
Exactly. Either way, there's no pressure right here. All the pressure is on Big Os right now, and I'm appreciating every moment of it. Don't worry, I'm not watching you type. It's absolutely fine. I'm probably going to bounce around to everybody, just to see what everybody's doing. But I'm liking seeing the enumeration here and just kind of the dig that happens, because a lot of these CTFs, like, you never know until you poke it. So seeing everybody trying something different is kind of nice.
Also, it's really cool to observe like the way the players started to interact with us on the stream. They are watching both of the streams, and sometimes they write messages on the screen like, I'm not gonna submit the flag if you're still here. Or they just are, and whenever we have their screen on, they're playing them purposely, and as soon as we leave the screen, they post like they submit one of the flags, or they wait for us to go to their screen for them to show they're getting the root flag. It's all very funny the way that they started interacting with the Twitch stream. It's all strategy as well. Alfonso, which was one of the most confident players that we ever had, he would just play around on the stream screen, sitting on flags. Like, he would show us the flags. He was sitting on the flags on the stream and not posting them purposely. It's just really cool to watch.
It's cool to see stuff like this too, and to go back and forth, because I don't know how many people tune in who aren't big CTF players who aren't actually playing this tonight. But there's like no wrong way to do anything, and it's just like hitting something over and over again. And I think it's really good for anybody who's tuning in, who's new to this, to kind of see this, because even the people who are incredibly talented who are doing this tonight, they're gonna hit their heads against the wall a little bit on some things. So just kind of cool to see that, and to see the mental process that goes into it, because it's not always apparent.
Yeah, that's a wonderful point. I always have to remind myself of that, because when I read somebody's write-up, whether it be for CTF or some kind of tool or technique that they've worked on, you only see the successes, right? And so it's like, oh yeah, it's easy as 1, 2, 3. You do this, and then this thing happens, and in the end, you win. Great. And you don't see all of the attempted failures that went into it. And so as a CTF player of many years, there's like all these failures that I have, and I think, man, like I'll never be that good where I'll just have like a flawless, victory like all the way through. But the case is like nobody is like that. Everybody's got things that they try and they don't work out, and then you figure out like what to do after that. And so seeing the players kind of go at it definitely reinforces that. It's a great reminder, like you said, that's like, yeah, like you just try different things, and something works sometimes, and sometimes other things don't work. And another part that I really appreciate doing UHC week after week is that I learn something new every single week. I've been playing CTF for years, and I like today, just in the first like couple minutes that the CTF's been live, I've seen 2 new tools for looting Git directories that I've never seen before. And so I always like to make note of those, and then I go play with them afterwards. So it's like free learning for me.
Same here. Well, and especially being on the other side of the house, often I'm investigating some of the things that you all do from a hacking perspective on the back end, and that's seen in so many different places in evidence, depending on what kind of box you're hitting, right? But where I work, I'm one of the Linux nerds, basement dwellers, whatever they call me on a daily basis. So seeing some of the stuff on that side, but there's so many artifacts in Windows that you see what people are running, and unless somebody has like a web content filter or something like that, you're just not going to see a lot of the things you guys are doing. So very, very cool to see it up close and personal, like some of the tools that you're running and the attacks that you do to get the information you need. Because a lot of people on the forensics side, unless people have logging turned on, it's just not going to be there. So very, very cool.
Yeah, I always wondered, and one of my favorite things to do in playing CTF when I have time is to like, if I'm doing like VulnHub as an example, I'll make a copy of the original VM of the disk, and then I'll like play the VM, right? And then I'll take the 2 disks, and I have like some scripting that I wrote, and I can take both disk images and feed it into the scripting, and it will like mount the disks and then do a comparison of the file systems, and it'll be like, here are all the files that changed between the like clean copy and the copy that I like hacked. And same with like doing PCAP, right? I'll do like PCAP on the VM interface, and then I can see like what gets picked up as an attack and what doesn't. So I'll like take the PCAP and I'll feed it into Security Onion, and I'll see like, okay, cool. Like I had a reverse shell. I ran ID on the reverse shell, and it told me like what my user ID was and what my group ID was, et cetera. And that got picked up by, I think it's probably Zeek or something that's running inside of the Security Onion. But so I'll be like, okay, like really what I needed to know is like, am I, www data or something, like, am I Apache? And like, what can I do to figure out what I really wanted to know without the detection picking it up? So like if I do like ID-U and ID-G, or -UN or something like that, whatever it is, right? Can I get that same information, but in a different format that the detection filters don't pick it up? And so I love that about CTF. It's like this free opportunity to be able to like figure out new ways to evolve both the detections and the attacks.
Well, it's really neat too from the outside. So like I'm over with Maxon right now, just kind of watching some enumeration and viewing the HTML source code and stuff like that. And I think it's lost on a lot of people how similar the jobs are between forensics and red team, because I do the same things. I'm looking for the same puzzle. It's just how, what did the attacker see first and what was open, like where was the open door? And it's kind of neat to watch the reverse and how long it takes sometimes, because we'll be in situations. I had one this last week, how did they get Privest so quick? And I stepped on my tongue, and I'll fully admit that I messed up this week. So I am one of those nerds on the side where I'm like, oh, I'll just throw the software hide in and see what version of Windows it is. And I just saw 6.3 and I was like, oh, this is a shitty computer. It's Windows 8.1. No, it was a server.
Yeah.
Bits vulnerability. So then I could look for that. And it's things that attackers don't think that are seen on that reverse side, where we're looking for the same hole that you all are looking for. And it's really cool to watch, like, both sides coming at it from the same angle. And it's kind of like reaffirming to me, looking through the source code through Maxon's eyes, like going, oh yes, this is my day to day. Like, so very, very cool.
Yeah, I love kind of having that same perspective, thinking of what might develop, right? Like when I watch the players, I'm like, okay, like as an attacker or as a defender, I would be looking at this thing. I see this, and it would make me think I should go look for this other thing now, and it's always fun. But the thing that's like wild to me is that we see players branch off in different directions, and they'll go look at things that I didn't even think to look at, and I'm like, oh shoot, like I should have thought to go look at that thing, and I've totally missed it. So I love seeing that from the players.
Yeah, I can tell. So I bounce around a lot. I can already tell that Luska thinks the way I do. So just bouncing over real quick, I gotta make a shout out. Already looking up CVEs, looking up.
Yes.
Okay, this is the version I have. What can I hit it with? Freaking love that. Like what are some low hanging fruit that I can just get into this with? And I think that's really not a bad way to do it. A lot of the real attacks that I'm seeing every day, it's all of these unpatched vulns, and you only have to find one. So
yeah, and I think there's a really good point there as well, that there's no need to escalate your tactics into something like Super Ninja when you can just run like Eternal Blue and get a shell very easily. Yep. Right? Exactly. If something is wide open, it's very simple to exploit. There's no need for you to like write the super stealthy kernel mode rootkit. So yeah, I completely agree. And I think as a red teamer, as like a professional that is being that simulated threat or that emulated threat, you want to play at the blue team's level, right? Like there's a book that I love. It's called Red Team by Mike Dizenko. And it covers a lot of different aspects, not just InfoSec, but there's a military anecdote where the Navy SEALs red team would test military base physical security. And they're the Navy SEALs. They're like super ninjas, right? And they would do their like Navy SEAL stuff and break into bases, and it would just totally wreck the MPs, the military police. Like the MPs are not trained at that same level. So it's like demoralizing. The MPs are like, well, we can never stop the Navy SEALs. We're not Navy SEAls. And so the Navy SEALs then started kind of bringing their level to meet the MP level. And then that way, like, it's okay to get caught. Like you can find issues. And if you get caught, then you can like escalate a little bit. And then you can help raise the other side to figuring out where the next set of issues are. And so I always thought that was like a really good approach, where you want to operate kind of at what your counterparts are operating at. And it's not to say that like the red team is always ahead. I've had plenty of times where I do something that I think I'm being sneaky, and then I get caught. So it's not like we always have a leg up on the blue team. It's absolutely not the case.
It is a hard it's a hard place to be in, though, because a lot of times I see with the blue team, I have seen some absolutely ninja blue teams out there, but if their budget's not large enough, they just don't have the visibility. So like some of the things I'm seeing right now, like I'm seeing them trying to find holes in the content management system, the CMS. and seeing what vulnerabilities are there. And, you know, it only takes one. And if the blue team doesn't have visibility into those logs, there's no aggregation, no centralized logging, you're dead in the water until they're already in. It's become to where for major companies, and why this is such, you know, playing CTFs is so important, and why this is such an employable thing to do, is because it's not an if, it's a when. You know, when is something going to happen, and do we have the right tools in place for it to actually give us the visibility into what's going on? And it's totally a defense in depth and layered issue, to where, and CTFs point that out, I think, better than anybody else, is that, you know, what are our participants doing right now? They're peeling it back in layers slowly. Every single problem is another layer. And they're just getting deeper and deeper into this. I love it. I'm watching, and it's funny too, because we all use the same tools. We pretend we don't, but Luska right now is in CyberChef, and I'm just smiling because
Yes,
doing the same thing. Can't tell you how many times that I get into CyberChef every day. So yeah, I mean, it's, all of these are very translatable, and it's actually very, very cool. I have to give a momentary shout out to the staff members who build these CTFs so frequently. Twice a week is insane.
Yes.
But to do it on this level twice a week, like, this is what I'm seeing so far translates. You know, these are skills that can be used, very, very real world, like in a corporation, hop right out and hop into a pen test sort of skill set right here. So
Absolutely. And this is one of the more realistic CTFs that I've seen, at least for like a corporate or a professional setting. I've definitely played CTFs where you could tell the person that wrote the CTF just like hacks things for real. And like, they're like, oh yeah, I found this like really weird bug one time. And so like, that's what the challenge is, right? And then I've also played CTFs where they're kind of more like academic, where the person is like, the CTF author is like, I know this like one neat trick, and like CTF players hate it or like whatever, right? And like that's the challenge. Is like, do you know the like magic bytes at this offset and what it means, you know, in the data structure? And it's like, no, why would I know that? Who cares? But
So-
the UHC challenges are like pretty realistic, where it's like, yeah, you know, you do some recon, you get some kind of presence, you expand your presence, you escalate privileges. It's like they map to like real operations.
It does make sense because part of the, most of the infrastructure is built by CrowdSec, you know, the company that I told y'all earlier that we have like up here on the bar, right here. And CrowdSec is a pen test and educational company. And Cadu, which is also a narrator in the Brazilian live, together with Igor, which is the UHC creator. Cadu is the one that builds most of the machines. So I guess he uses, you know, his experience as a pen tester to, you know, translate stuff that he sees on other machines and you know, into the CTF. Maybe that's what he does. Some of the players and people from the community, the UHC community, also contribute, once in a while with machines as well. So it depends, but it is mostly Cadu. He's like a CTF monster.
Yeah, he's a robot basically who never sleeps because he does like pen tests and then he makes trainings and then he also builds CTF. So, you know, like, when do you sleep? There's no time for that.
Yeah, the dude is insane. He has like a pen test Netflix kind of thing.
That's too cool. I've only ever in my life, and that's through doing all of the different CTFs, being involved with multiple conferences, everything else. I've only met one other person that fits that description, and it's Commander OPSEC, who runs the CTF for the Dallas Hackers Association. And he found out a way to randomize it. And it's just godly when he spins it up. So, but to do something like this, to switch from AWS to, you know, content management systems and different databases, like, this is just on a whole this is on another level. You know, I wish we could clone this person and just make them have like do CPF all over the place, because this is very cool. So, and I keep bouncing around to the different streams, so you'll have to forgive me because I get distracted looking at
Call
what
them out.
everybody's doing. But this
when you see
is
somebody, like, be like, hey, go to their screen.
Yeah, let
Marina,
me
switch
know
over.
so we can also go around.
I just keep bouncing. Well, and here's my problem is if anybody else is watching and not playing, but you found yourself like pulled like I want to be playing, that's the sign of an addict. And I'm very much there right now because I'm looking at all of this and going, ooh, what if I did this? And I have to say, no, Moose, you're not playing. You're not allowed to play. Calm down and watch the other streams. So just hopping back and forth right now out of a few.
This is why I was like getting shells at 3 a.m.
Can't imagine.
So we understand. It's cool. and if you are excited about this, definitely join. Like play the prelims on Saturdays, or go play any other CTF. Like just playing CTF is such value add, I feel like.
There's one other cool one too for anybody listening. Magnet, that's on the forensics side. Like if you want to learn both sides of the fence, they have a weekly CTF. And that's really cool to get another perspective. So I'm a firm believer in going both sides. I feel like I'm terrible on the red team side, but that's because I put all of my focus and effort for so long into incident response. But you know, I'm on the red team for CCDC. I really enjoy that. And I usually take CTFs and find new ways to hit students. Is really what I use them for. So, but this is very cool. Also, I have to give credit to all the participants tonight. Clearly, you qualified for this and did some work beforehand and have been doing this for a while, because you are faster than I am. I am so glad you all aren't watching my screen while I'm trying to do something like this.
A lot of these kids, they are just starting CTF, which is quite crazy. Some of them are like playing CTF for the first time in UHC. A lot of them, you know, go for, you know, the Instagram stories and UHC page and just like, yeah, I played for the first time last time and it was like super fun. And, you know, I'll play again. Luska, for example, we caught him starting, you know, here on screen. Now he's like in, I don't know, it's probably the 10th edition that he's playing now. So, but we saw him starting here, and a few of the winners as well. We also heard it. Yeah, like I was kind of rusty. I haven't been playing a lot, or I never played before. So it's like insane to see, you know, this kid's levels.
It is. It's also nice though too to like, because I think it doesn't matter how long you're in this industry, you will always have imposter syndrome about something. And it doesn't matter to me hearing that some of these the people participating are very, very young and very new to this. I just watched Big Os go to Stack Overflow and look something up, and I'm like, oh yes, that's what I do, you know, and it really helps me because I'm just like, oh, that's the same thing I would do, you know. It's kind of nice to see that. So, and I've been doing this for a lot of years, so
like, I'm right there with you. I've written like huge Python like apps, like frameworks that are like modular and stuff, and I still go look up on Stack Overflow, how do I write a file in Python? It's like 2 lines of Python code, but I still go and look it up. So it's like, it's okay. Like you,
I live with a Python developer, so I'm completely lazy now. If I want anything, I'll just yell.
I'm surprised that they don't just like have some kind of remote, like open up IPython and like, here you go.
Exactly. No, it's cool to see this. And also really, really awesome that there is something like this that can get somebody started at this age, because I would have given my left arm for something like this to get me started younger.
Something that happened a few weeks ago, we had as a guest, as a narrator guest, we had this kid, like this 15-year-old kid from Brazil, that he got his first bounty ever in life from Instagram, and it was like 25K. It's just like a little kid, and the thing that it got me the most, he was like, yeah, I started looking for hacking stuff when I was 12, and as soon as I, my mom and dad knew about all, my bug bounty researches, and when Instagram finally replied to me and told me I would have the bounty, I just ran into their rooms and woke them up, and they were super happy, and I was like, oh man, that's so cool. I mean, that's the story that most of us would like to have, like how supportive the parents were. The kid literally just woke them up in the middle of the night to tell them about a bug bounty that they already knew about. Like they were all already supporting him on bug bounty research. So, and he's just a kid. He was like 14 years old, 15 years old. It's just so nice. Just like this new generation is it's coming up with this very nice support. Not only their parents' support, but way more. They are receiving way more support from society and from the community as well, because hacking is kind of going into a mainstream path right now, and people are talking about hacking way more and talking about security way more. So I guess the path is changing for these kids. Maybe that's why they have like this crazy abilities right now, because the support is just so different.
I hope that's the case. I also think that it goes to show that it doesn't really matter. Thank you. It doesn't really matter how old you are or where you are in this. That's what, 2 years. Does this make you happy? There you go. Thank you for the beer.
Tell them we said hello.
My delivery service dropped off and wanted to thank you.
5 stars.
No trolling. No trolling on the stream. Please, no trolling. Oh, God.
Hi, David.
Hi.
Hi. We miss you and we love you.
I was going to say something serious and sentimental, but there it is.
Well, I will say
2 years. 2 years is a short amount of time to go from 12 to either 14 or 15. And that's somebody independently researching, young in their life, just kind of going at it like probably haphazardly a little bit. So think about, like, if you're watching this and you're not working in the career that you want to be working in, that's not a long amount of time to turn that around.
Yep.
So that's kind of the power of how fast the hacking world moves too. Because talking about the CTF you all did recently with AWS, I mean, things like that are changing every day, and there aren't a lot of experts in it. I mean, it's getting better. We have a few, but for the amount of distribution that cloud environments are seeing, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Provider, any of those, and they're everywhere. Almost every corporation has that kind of environment, and don't have the expertise in-house. So that's where everybody who's competing comes in. If you can take out a CTF in 25 minutes, like, that's insane.
And I love that there's that encouragement around it now, right? Like whether it's bug bounty or whether it's your family or whatever, like the fact that there's like a structured kind of like protection or support, I think is phenomenal. And nothing makes me feel older other than the gray hairs in my beard about then talking about like how I learned hacking versus how you can learn hacking now, right?
Yeah.
And like, so the quote unquote back in my day, like it was all like illegal. There was no CTF, there were no VMs, there was no Docker containers or whatever. I had to like dumpster dive hardware out of stuff. And I like, it's like Frankensteining machines just so I could have targets to hack without, being running afoul of the law. It's like, man, now you just are like Docker run and you get like a target immediately, or like, Vagrant up or whatever. And there's so many ways to do free stuff. I think it's amazing. And I think that facilitates people like this next generation of hackers being so much better at stuff, and hopefully encouraging them to just run with it and progress like so much faster. So like you said, 2 years is like such a short time span. I've never found an Instagram bug bounty and I've been hacking stuff for years. Like 2 years is incredible.
Yeah, 2 years. And that's 2 years of like open source research too. So finding stuff online for free. So think of it like, okay, most master's degrees are 2-year programs, right? Give yourself the gift of a free master's degree in hacking. Just look online every day, once a day for 2 years, and you're good to go. $25,000 at 15. Holy crap. From a big company like Instagram, like you put that on your resume, like that's amazing. So
absolutely. And one of the other aspects that I really like about working in InfoSec is that it's not like a certified or regulated field, right? Like we don't have to go to school for 7 years and pass a bar exam or whatever. We don't have to get like board certifications. We just keep hacking stuff and you just keep going. I always think that's like an overlooked benefit of working in InfoSec, where it's like as long as you are willing to learn new things and try things, like you're going to be great at this job. And you don't need a certification to tell you that, or like you don't have to like get regulated and like qualify for certain things. It's just like go do stuff. And I think that's fascinating. I don't think there are many fields that are like that. I'm not going to go to a dentist that's been like, oh yeah, well, I got a $25,000 dental cavity bug bounty when I was 15. I'll be like, yeah, you're not drilling my teeth.
Or like, I just started on dogs. It's fine, bro. Let me clean your teeth. Like,
exactly.
No.
I mean, it seemed to work out okay in Inglourious Bastards, but other than that.
Yeah, sometimes I think you have to get very lucky. But even with this, like, I'll admit, like, I had to find my own path. My first degree was in literature. It's not in any of this. So, and I think I do pretty well. I won't say who I work for, but it is one of the big companies when it comes to incident response. And as a result of that, I work with companies all over the world. I've even worked with companies in Brazil, which makes me very, very happy. Also makes me very, very sad that I don't speak more Portuguese, and I'm very sorry. I speak English and Spanish, though. And so my coworkers in Brazil, I would speak Spanish, and then they would speak Portuguese back, and we'd meet in the middle and mostly understand.
Yeah, that's how we do it. That's how we do it with people from the other countries in Latin America, because once you speak Portuguese, it is almost impossible to actually speak Spanish because the two languages are very alike. So we have like this middle ground, which is called Portuñol. Portuguese with Espanol.
So funny.
And we have like this middle ground. They try to speak a little bit with the Portuguese accent. We try to say a few things with the English accent, and we can kind of understand each other.
That's kind of how we got, and the closest I think we got to ever merging the two when I was working with my coworkers, whom I still very much love, and I wish I could keep working cases with them, but I don't work with that company anymore, is when we all got very, very drunk. We got very close to merging Portuguese and Spanish, and I think it was just the slurring that was happening.
Yeah, we do have in common. We do have that in common. Our slurring is just heaven on earth. I feel very trapped in English because everything is fuck this, fuck that, lots of fuck. And in Portuguese, you have such a wide variety of slurs and curses, and it's just crazy. You might go your entire life without, still updating your cursing vocabulary.
You're making me want to learn Portuguese. But then I found out that we have a couple of different conjugations in Spanish for verbs, and then I found out about your conjugations in Portuguese, and that's when I said no.
Nope.
No. I grew up with Spanish and English, and that's enough for me.
The reason to learn Portuguese is because there's like a million ways to swear in it, and the swearing in Portuguese is where it's at. It is the greatest. Like I love I hate when bad things happen to Marina, but I love when they happen because hearing her swear is like my favorite thing.
See, you should just make a rap song out of that. Like, just listen. Over time, just keep writing it down, and then the whole song will just be swearing.
It is an art form in itself.
Boy.
And, I was confused at first when Marina told me that she swears a lot because she learned English from watching sitcoms. And I was like, there's no like swearing in sitcoms. Like, what are you talking about? And what it is that in Brazil, English, the bad words aren't bad words in Portuguese. So like you'll be in like an Uber and you'll hear like the full version of a song where they're like, F this, and there's no bleeps. They don't bleep out any bad words because they're not bad words.
So like, what you're saying is torrent all of my English songs through Brazil. So set up a VPN in Brazil and then torrent. Okay, that sounds good.
VPS in Brazil and you're good. This little box, no big deal. I think there's an AWS data center. There's like a SA East 1 region for Sao Paulo. I don't know if I would. Yeah, I wouldn't torrent things through AWS, but there's got to be some infrastructure there that you can put a VPS in and then torrent stuff if you were so inclined, if one were so inclined to do computer crimes.
In almost every single country that it allows you to, except for China. I think I've done everything else. I ended up setting it up, and I remember in particular my test bed for that was France.
Nice.
And I'm not.
Oh yeah, the French also have very nice slurs. They feel good on the tongue. I like curses that feel good. It's like, yeah, that sounds like poetry. But I'm actually just saying a lot of bad shit about your mom.
See, if you like that, Marina, you should just learn the entire German language because the whole thing sounds like you're saying properly.
Yes.
Every word that you can speak in German just sounds like you're angry, and I love them for it.
But that's the beauty of slurring. It doesn't have to sound bad. The secret ingredient is to feel good. It's like
and crime.
The secret ingredient is crime. Yes.
Speaking of I will say, and crime and feeling good, I feel even better that Yagat is now using getdumper.py, and I'm seeing more validation for my life.
This is very important to say, just to be very clear, because a lot of people have this kind of questions. Nothing that's happening here is illegal. As a matter of fact, is a rule in UHC that if we see anything outside of the law, anything illicit or that the kids shouldn't be doing, then the kid is disqualified. That the player is disqualified. We do not. We're joking around here with the championship itself. It's not about committing crimes. It's the hacking way of stuff. It's one thing. The CTF or as a learning platform and as a entertainment platform is another thing. That's very, very important to clarify because we get a lot of questions in the inbox like, how could you do this? Like, why are you streaming live hacking? Why aren't y'all in jail? And I think that you don't understand what hacking is, and most importantly, what CTF is. And that's a very important thing to understand. All of those machines here, all of those systems, they are built specifically for tonight's use, for to be a safe training environment, so these kids can learn a bunch of stuff. and they can also train their skills. And that's safe of a space. And that's that's the main difference there, y'all.
Yeah,
So,
that's a really good point. Everything here is in a structured environment that's made to be hacked by the players. So there's
yes.
everything's totally above board, and really the only thing that's illegal is my jokes. But
Yes, they are.
So but
Sorry, I'm encouraging them.
I'm behind 7 proxies, and I got Norton, so you can't hack me.
That's adorable. I love it. No, I should mention too, all joking aside, and this is for everyone, it's my job to actually catch criminals. So yes, please don't do anything illegal. Illegal things are bad. Always play within a sandbox. Hack the Box is great too. Anything that's a sandbox that's legal, awesome. Should be legal. So anything that we're advising on tonight, joking aside, is pretty legal. All of the forensic side of the house, that's all very legal. But there are ways that you can get in trouble with that too. So when I red team for CCDC, I thought it was funny to actually image my students' computers and get the dump that way because they left it lying somewhere. So that was a red team attack that was FTK Imager, which I personally found hilarious, and everybody else lost the joke somewhere. But for anybody who works in forensics, to get to red team with FTK Imager is like, that's some really memey shit right there. So but I think that the real point in doing CTFs and to kind of emulate something that would be illegal if you were to do this without permission, or if you were to do this on an environment that's not yours, is because there are people out there committing these kind of crimes every single day, which is why I have a job that not only pays me very well, but also keeps me incredibly busy. And I would like to take some time off soon. But with
our
COVID,
request is that everybody stay out of jail. Please stay out of jail. Please stay free.
Exactly. So, as a general rule, don't commit crimes on the CTF. Not only because crime, it's not the best answer, but because it's not that smart for you to commit crimes on a live stream on Twitch. And just as a general rule, if you're gonna commit crimes, don't do it on a live stream.
Well, we got to solve
First Blood.
Yes.
I watched it happen. I'm so sorry. That's so exciting.
I didn't want to derail us, but I was so surprised that people were finding the Git repo like right away, and then we weren't seeing First Blood. And I was like, shouldn't it be I'm asserting that there's a flag in that Git repo, so shouldn't it be pretty quick? You can script all of the pillaging the checkouts, or there's Git rob. There's a bunch of different tools that are available that will go through stuff. Granted, Git rob is probably going to look for things that look like credentials, not things that look for UHC flags.
But wow!
I was still surprised.
So here's what happened. Luska just got First Blood, and right after him, João got the flag as well.
Nice.
Oh wow!
Just nice. A few seconds after. So Luska is now in the first place, and João is on the second place. Both of them have 100 points, which means they got the easy flag of the night. And it's a very good timing because we just entered mid-game. We are now on our second hour of the night. We are 8 minutes in our second hour. We are 8 minutes in our mid-game, and now we already have 2 players on the scoreboard.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
That was pretty cool.
Very nice. And I'm watching a few others that are looking like they might be getting close, so we'll definitely have some competition here.
This isn't a swear, but in Portuguese, to say congratulations, we say parabéns,
Is
which
he
is
saying
almost
that
like,
right?
yeah,
What? It's
not like what I'm saying,
congratulations.
like,
I'm kidding.
wow.
But you can say parabéns, porra. And now that's connected to a swearing. Parabéns, caralho. Also connected to a swearing. That you can say.
Nice.
I love it. I troll one thing in Portuguese, and now nobody believes me about anything I say in Portuguese.
All right. So the staff
know
is telling
parabéns.
me that
Yes.
people are actually betting on the Portuguese stream, the Brazilian stream. There is a betting system. They use the Twitch points to bet on the champion, and the champion will get like a money boost or something like that. Not only that, but the Brazilian stream also has this like store inside their Twitch that the fans can buy stuff from the store, and one of the things that they can buy is to give a official hint to the players. So apparently that's what happened, and that's why we are seeing a bunch of people getting close to the first flag, including Mateus. Mateus also got points, so we already have a third player in the scoreboard now.
Nice. I like that. I love that people will find some way to like use a system that was not the intended way for it to be used. I had a friend that worked at Valve, and they told me when TF2 came out with like hats and skins, and like CSGO had like hats and skins, or I think just skins or whatever. It kind of like this like black market gambling thing like spawned, where people were like betting skins on matches. So you'd have like, two teams or two clans or whatever would like go into a match, and then people would bet these skins that were worth hundreds of dollars or sometimes thousands of dollars. And it was just like all of a sudden this like illegal gambling ring just like spawned out of Valve just introducing like some feature into the game that people could like creatively make new aspects of it. And like all of a sudden people are like, oh yeah, like I can bet money on that. I can win money from that.
Except this seems to be a beautiful place. So there are two things I'm learning tonight. One, because I'm watching the streams and I'm watching chats and everything else, I am learning Portuguese very slowly, but it's happening. And I'm going to butcher the language and I'm going to say everything wrong, but I'm learning. And then the second thing.
Oh, you should. Brazilians just love when the gringos try to go for Portuguese. But like from the bottom of the heart, I'm not being sarcastic here. They just go nuts. They go wild.
That's hilarious. Well,
Number two?
I'm thinking that hint is the same in both languages. Pontos is points.
Yes.
Let's see. Valeu, does that mean I appreciate you?
Yeah, it's
like thanks.
Thanks. Okay, cool. But slight things. And then when I'm seeing people use like I've seen a couple people so far use like the web developer tools in the browser. And so I know what I expect to see the buttons to say, and I'm seeing them in Portuguese, and I'm just like, I know exactly what that says. That's very, very nice.
Yeah, David says, already said a few times here, if you want to participate and you think UHC is cool, it's like code is code, right?
Yep, code is code. Well, and I'm seeing a lot that's being pulled up too, because they're having to dump Git repositories. When you go into Git, it's whatever language it was written in, right? So it's in English, so you have to have some empathy too for the players here, because if that's not their mother tongue, that becomes even harder to hack, and it just gives new respect for what kind of they're up against too, when it comes to something that might not have been written originally in Brazil. It was written in Canada or in another English speaking country. So very cool. and new perspective. But then the second thing I'm learning is that it must be legal to do this kind of betting ring with and I'm gonna tell you, anytime you want to do this on a Sunday night, I'm in.
Yes.
We're here every week, y'all, just betting on CTFs and drinking beer and talking about cybercrime and shit.
Well, I'm drinking spiced rum, but yes, drinking nonetheless.
I've had a beer and now I have a White Claw because it's all that was in our refrigerator. And once this is done, I am looking at a whiskey case right here, like it's within eyesight. I just have to get it.
Come to the dark side.
It is interesting. Like when I said that about like code is code, I remember I went to Colombia in 2012 and I played a show there, and I met this guy who he was like doing kind of like anti-reversing and anti-debugging stuff. And he showed me his like this binary that he'd built. And he was like explaining it in Spanish. And like while I speak some Spanish, I didn't understand like exactly everything that he was saying. But in the debugger, I can look and say like, yeah, like I totally understand. Like you set a breakpoint here. I understand like this API call. Like I totally get what's going on. And so even though in the spoken language I didn't fully grasp everything, I could definitely get a full understanding of what was happening. And so I've played CTFs in other languages, including in Portuguese and Brazilian CTFs, and it's like no issue. I mean, you just like for things that you don't know, you just put it in a Google Translate. And I do think it can be a disadvantage to not grasp the language, but it's still like totally doable for sure. And you're right. Like Moose, when I first started hacking and programming, I was like doing it with kids that were like all around the planet. Like I was a kid and I was like hacking with kids from like Germany and Canada and stuff. And it was wild. I was like, oh man, like y'all speak English? That's great, because all I got is like I've 1 year of Spanish class thus far.
We got another point. We got another player in the scoreboard now, Maxine, the newcomer. Got 100 points too. So now we have Luska in the first place. Luska is a veteran here from UHC. We have João Ribeiro right next to him, John Rivers with 100 points in the second place. And we have the newcomers, Mateus Pimentel and Maxine in the third and fourth place, all of them with the EZ flag. So it's not just nice to remember, y'all. We did had the fans in the Brazilian live stream, they bought a hint that was released on the Discord channel for all the players. That's why we had a bunch of points now in going in mid game. I do believe the fans from the Brazil chat can still buy another hint. So we might see more people coming out of nowhere. But if that happens, I will know and I'll let you know. But yeah, staff just confirmed they just bought it. So I know it takes a while for the hints to hit the Discord channel. It takes like up to an hour for the hints to hit there. So whoever's sitting on flags or whoever's getting near the flags should freaking hurry, because we will soon have another hint and we'll see more people rising in the scoreboard.
I want to say that I love this dynamic of the crowd collecting the hints initiating the hints for the players. Like usually in CTF as a player, if there's a hint that's available, a lot of times there's a penalty with it and you end up like reducing the number of points that you can get. Now, like I cheat at this in the past. Like the first time I went to BloomCon, where I met my homie Brian Moran, I was playing the forensics CTF there at BloomCon, and there was like hints, but you would like reduce the number of points you could get from the flag. And so I made like a Canary account. And so I had like two accounts going. I had my int 80 account, which was like only submitting correct answers. And then I had my Canary account, which would like try different things. And, some of the challenges were like, what was the time that this thing happened on the system? And I'm like, I don't know what format you want. Like, so, or like, do you want it in the local time zone? Do you want it in UTC? Like, what? So I would basically like take the hints with my Canary account, but then I have like a perfect score with my int 80 account to win the CTF.
Nice.
And so like I like that now the players can get hints at no cost to them. And that's a fascinating aspect for engagement where the audience can instigate the hints and can figure out like, yeah, here's how like we give one player an advantage that we're cheering for, right? And so if you have like different contingents, like we've definitely seen like hashtag Team Alfonso or hashtag like whichever player. So you get these like contingents or groups of constituents that support one particular player. They can like potentially give an advantage somehow. I think that's a fascinating aspect of CTF that I've never considered before.
Yeah, there's a few things that now the fans can't buy. Right now, it's only available in the BR, the Brazilian stream, because they are still testing all those features. But a few things is that they can buy the first hint that is released, within an hour of the game. It can be released at any point in this first hour. And then there's the second hint that they can buy as well. So they can only buy 2 hints per game. That way, the root flag still out there, and whoever didn't had any points or lost their lead on the scoreboard because of the hints, they still have a chance to win with the root flag, because the root flag is the one that has more points into it. They can buy screen time of players. So if they buy screen time of players, they have a 5-minute dedicated to whichever player they want to watch. Because here we are watching players that we, the narrators, choose. And if the fans can buy, a screen time from one of the players they like, that might also help another player that's been, wanting some time off the screens to submit some flags. So that is like 5 minutes guaranteed off your screen.
You buy 3 hours of your competitors.
Nah, all of that has limits.
What you're saying is that we're not only teaching hacking here, but social engineering. How very curious that our main MC is a social engineer.
I don't know where this store things came from.
Yeah, that was a very detailed explanation for somebody who doesn't know where this came from.
Right.
There's also one more thing that I didn't have anything to do, but that you can also buy with the points, which is to hide the scoreboard for 5 minutes.
Yeah. I always appreciate that in a CTF. When I ran CTFs, we would sometimes disable the scoreboard for the last like 15 minutes or something like that. So you could never tell how it was all going to shake out in the end.
So yeah, the fans can buy 5 minutes of the scoreboard disabled. So that might help, some player that wanted to submit some flags out of nowhere. Or that can set all the players loose, and panicking because they don't know who is now on the lead, if anyone used that as like a strategy or something. Or that can be the fans just messing up with the players.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Mace.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it seems like there's enough chaos here that everybody gets messed with, and it's beautiful. Like, I love chaos. So much chaos. Also, I've never seen this before, to where this kind of interaction, to where you can view the players' screens live and narrate and really look at it. Like, I mean, this is esports. Like, this is amazing from a hacking standpoint. I'm still floored, and I keep hopping from competitor to competitor, just looking at what everybody's doing, because there's some real talent. Even the folks who don't have points on the board yet, the things that they're doing are impressive. Like, don't underestimate them at all, because I'm watching kind of what they're doing on their screens. And it's not like they're not solving problems and puzzles within the CTF. They just might not have a flag on the board yet. So I could see still at an hour in that this is anybody's game.
We have another player in a scoreboard now. So now we have half of the players in the scoreboard. Rafael Santos, Rafa here, that we're trying to see his screen if, freaking Discord actually functions. He also has the easy flag now. So we have 5 players with the easy flag, 100 points each, being Luska, the one who submitted first. Therefore, he's on the lead.
So I tried to see Rafa's earlier, and that is the one that I haven't been able to pop into.
They're hacking.
Yes.
Hacking detected.
Hacking on top of hacking on top of hacking. Yes.
Yeah, Discord does this sometimes.
Well, is it Discord or is it Hafa actually hacking?
I don't know. If that's the case and the staff gets gets to the bottom of it, and that's actually the case, he can be disqualified, because one of the rules is to have your screen shared 100% of the time. You can go about 5 minutes without it being online, and that's sometime if you have any connection problems or anything like that. But if your screen is not shared throughout the entire championship, if we cannot see what you're doing, you can be disqualified.
Well, hopefully it's a connection issue here, because Discord is showing Rafa as live. I just haven't been able to connect in. And I'll be honest, that's also my impatience, because if it spins for more than 2 seconds, I'll hop to the next. So
to be fair, I was here waiting for a while.
Yeah, my guess is if it were me doing this, I'd be like, oh, how is the stream sent? Maybe WebRTC? Can I just block WebRTC? And then I'm live, but nobody sees my screen. Hacker's gonna hack.
That won't fly. That won't fly with the Brazilians.
In the chat, people are asking for Mateus. Can we go to Mateus's screen? And they say Mateus Deus. God being Deus and
yes.
Deus mío.
Deus. Deus.
Deus.
Yes.
Deus de céu.
Is Spanish.
Meu Deus do céu.
Mateus, meu Deus de céu.
What the hell are you saying?
I'm a rapper now.
No.
Oh my goodness.
Cell.
Now? Just now.
Now. Just now.
Just now.
Y'all caught it live on Twitch.
Sweet mother of Jesus. All right, so Bigos has a flag now. He submitted a flag, and he also has 100 points joining the scoreboard. So he is the fifth player to have points on the scoreboard. 100 points, the easy flag, and also not loading apparently.
Lit Moose and I are checking out Mateus Meu Deus de Seus, and looks like they are on looks like they are on Exploit DB. So maybe they've done some enumeration, found a particular vulnerable version of an application that there might be an exploit for. I always like this approach for pen testing. For Red Team, I tend to not run exploits. I tend to look at how the see, wait, oh my gosh, Mateus is number 6.
Mateus, his name is Mateus.
Mateus meu Deus de Seus, número 6.
Stop, please, it's hurting.
You should probably just call him Matt.
Yeah, Matt 6.
There you go. Thank you, Moose.
You're welcome. I'm trying.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No,
I'm hurt that you don't like my rapping, Marina. I just became a rapper, and
it's
I need confidence
sell,
to boost here.
And not sale. Sale means yours.
Yeah, sale.
Oh my God.
Oh, Jesus. See, people, they're talking my language. I can't even understand it.
How many rooms are you two apart right now? Do I need to call the authorities? Is there going to be a murder tonight?
Marina is the authority, so just call her.
or a mercy killing.
I might wake up dead.
Yes. I don't think you wake up in that case.
I don't know. It's a Simpsons quote, so I'm just going with it.
Hilarious. Oh, I see that you are also ingratiated among the Simpsons cult that is DFIR because of Brian.
Yes.
Okay.
I am a fan of the Simpsons DevOps Twitter account as well.
Yes.
Large fan. So we are watching Mat 6 and seeing what the DevTools console here. And it looks like they're looking for bugs in this October framework. I've never seen October before. Moose, have you ever come across this?
I haven't, but it's funny. We had another player a little bit ago. I think it was Bigos and Luska both were looking at the CVEs for the October CMS. So the content management system for October, and seeing if there was a CVE there. And I believe there is. So I believe that's kind of what we were seeing, was both in Exploit DB, and I think Luska had it pulled up in a different website, but the CVE there for October for the CMS, which just goes to show there are so many different UIs and CMSs and everything else out there that as soon as you figure out what you're dealing with, there's probably a hole in it, and it's probably a CVE. So very cool stuff. So right now we're just seeing Mateus. Am I saying that correctly?
Thank you, Moose. I love you.
I get a point. Wait, I get 1 point. I'm on the board. So what we're seeing him do, though, is go through this and really learn about it. And I actually appreciate the scroll speed because I can read it.
Wait a minute. I think they bought time to off the scoreboard.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think the fans on the BR the Brazilian live stream just bought the 5 minutes off the scoreboard.
Ooh,
so the scoreboard's disabled now.
Yeah, no scoreboard for 5 minutes, y'all.
Ooh, that's tense. Well, then it depends on whose screen we're showing, doesn't it?
Moose, I wanted to ask you, I was curious, we were talking about looking up exploits for like published vulnerabilities, and in my last job, almost all of the red team operations that I did, we like never ran an exploit, or if we did, we kind of like devved it out. We like found the bug and we developed the exploit ourselves. So we were kind of just doing like a lot of recon up front, looking for things like credential reuse and exposed services with like single factor authentication or like whatever things that we could just end up getting access to without a specific exploit, and then kind of just working our way through the ecosystem as to how all the systems communicated with each other. You'd find credentials in like a config file or in like a bash history or less history or Vim info or something like that, right? So there's no exploit there. You're just kind of like using the systems to talk to each other as they're intended to talk to each other. It is a very loose ballpark percentage estimate. What would you estimate percentage-wise that you see the number of cases you look at where there are no exploits used?
So, it'd be hard to do a percentage, and it depends on the criminal group. So I'll kind of give a quick and dirty of if you can get in through fish, that's still the number one no exploit way in. And so once I see that, they don't necessarily need to know too much more once they get in and do lay of the land. So if you get in, you're already in, you have the creds for one person, say you do Bloodhound, You get the creds for a couple more. You get persistence. You might, in that Bloodhound, like if you do like an LSAS dump, you might get creds for an admin in there. You're lucky. You get to move and kind of do whatever you mean to do on the back end. That's one way I've seen it tracked, and I've seen many, many cases of that to where I don't see any real exploits used, to where I'm like, okay, you didn't look up any CPEs, you didn't know any exploits. There were no specialized tools for this case. But then there are groups that focus their intrusion around an exploit. And one of the main ones that I've seen in recent history is Pulse Secure VPN. And
oh yeah,
I forgive me, everybody who has one of these, for saying it out loud. But there was a CVE out there for a while for a certain version of it, where if you did a browser-based attack, you could just see a log file of passwords in plain text. Now, if you were a company that had logging enabled properly for it, you could see that HTML access. And it's literally it's a log that's HTML access on the back end, where you can see who's doing it, from what IP, it logs everything. And you can see the exploit that way. So it's not like it's an invisible exploit. But we had a few threat actors for a while that were really taking advantage of that as low-hanging fruit. So I would say it depends on the group and how low-hanging the CVE is. The other thing I'd say is, once you're in, if you're trying to like privask silently, one of the CVEs I was talking about early on was one for Windows version 8.1. Anything that's 6.3 in reg is Windows version 8, and then 2012 servers, I think both 2012 and 2012 R2 have the bits vulnerability in them. You can still see that in logs. You can still see the compromise there, but it's not as clear. It's more suspicious than anything else in the logging. And so if somebody's trying to go low and slow and get around, if somebody has like AV or EDR in place, they might try and do that. And so that's really where I see the exploits come into play, is more, I've gotten in and now I've hit a wall, so let's do some kind of recon on what version of whatever I'm on. And then the last bit is, if it's a new, like almost like an O day, and it's simple and it's like,
sorry, real quick, Marina, is what's Luska asking there or saying there? Aminya Menchi. You're muted, I think. I don't hear you. I mean, I hear you across the hall.
He doesn't want to give hint to anyone else. All right, he is asking us to leave his stream.
All right.
Because he about to
that means
submit.
I can watch, but you can't. So let me go ahead and go into
all the Brazilian players that are that want to know. We'll tell you. Stay with us.
No,
sorry, back to you.
But I don't want to know. Like, I won't say anything. This is just me wanting to watch. So while I'm not paying attention to this at all, the other thing is, I've seen some interesting O days. Like, if you look up SaltStack, if anybody wants to look up the SaltStack vulnerability, that was a really cool one that basically just relied upon a Linux salt master being exposed to the web. And they could take advantage of that.
Nice. In the chat, sorry, Bo's asking how many CTFs actually have problems that deal with detection evasion. And I know that I've definitely seen some where it may not be like a super advanced bypass, but you have to figure out, some way to like work around some kind of check. I would say not many CTFs have this, with like where they're trying to detect the attack and trying to steer you towards some particular bypass technique, but they definitely exist. I don't know, Moose, what's your take on that?
Like anti-forensics or?
Well, I think they're kind of asking with the detection evasion. I think they're kind of asking more of like, let's say you have like a directory traversal, right? And so if you have like .. / like that doesn't work. But if you do like .. / then like that does work. I don't see it often, but I have seen it in some CTFs.
I don't really see it in CTFs, and honestly, I don't see it as much in the real world either. A lot of that recon you do like in a banner grab or something like that, and then you know what you're dealing with, and you can kind of move from there. It gets much harder if you find yourself with credentials on a box that has all kinds of protections on it. And if you're a red teamer, in some cases you'll find a way around it, but depending on the platform and kind of what you're up against, you might just find yourself in a corner. But CTFs usually aren't designed that way. That's more like red teaming pen testing.
Yeah, I guess I will say on Hack the Box, I see it on Windows systems where like if I try to do like the IEX new object net web client or whatever it is. Sorry, I'm like new to Windows hacking, but if I try to do that like PowerShell where it's just like download and execute all in one shot, that gets blocked kind of frequently. Same thing with like if I drop like a netcat binary on a box, there will be like the common directories that I go for will often not have the permission set up that I can run the netcat binary from that. Or there will be like Windows Defender enabled and it'll catch me dropping something on the box. So I have seen that more frequently in the context of Hack the Box. In real life, I think not to poo-poo on anybody, but I think Oracle had a vulnerability recently where like their mitigation for it was literally like a couple of like string compares and then that was it. So it was like trivial to bypass it. There was like detection there, but the detection evasion was like, can you just like mash your keyboard a couple times? Okay, you got around it.
I've seen the same thing in Windows Defender where it was really sad in a recent case. It said, Windows Defender has detected this. Windows Defender is shut down. And I went, oh. Where I went, oh no. Like, this is the saddest, shortest haiku I've ever seen in my life. So it depends on what you're hitting it with, though. And like, I would say some of the best I've seen do by day sysadmin work. And if you can, as an attacker, kind of replicate what a sysadmin would do, I see a lot of successful, not that I want to promote it. This is not promoting criminal activity. Like that's the disclaimer. This is not promoting
red team activity. Red team.
But I see people being successful around attacks when they're simulating being sysadmins. And so a lot of that is via WMI, GPO, and then PowerShell are the top three once you're in. So I would say intrusion is still majority right now, fish and probably VPN compromise.
I always like where you can just change a string and it works. Shout out to my friend Corey who posted that Spanish hackers they rename Mimi cats to Mimi gatos, and then that's how they get around detection.
The first time I ever saw, this is way back in the day, so I'm going to age myself. The first time I ever saw Houdini worm was not in an English-speaking country. And Houdini worm, for anybody who's unfamiliar, announces its presence with a README file. And it's readme.txt, and it worms out and it spams all over the place, and then it propagates via SMB. And the problem was that the file name for this was lee_me.txt. And I went, what the heck is Lee-me? And then I realized, Leme.
Read me.
because it wasn't in an English-speaking country, and yeah. So yeah, you can totally rename stuff, and it will get by.
I remember when Shell Shock came out, I found a log entry on a friend's system where it was like a bot trying to do Shell Shock against the system, and it came from like it was trying to pull down a script from a particular IP. And so I like looked at the IP and there was like an IRC daemon running on it. So I connected to the IRC server and I joined the channel with all the bots, and it was in Spain and all the bots were like posting in Spanish. And I was like, oh, and I just like started chatting with like the botnet operator in Spanish. And I was like, hola. And they were like freaking out. They were like, what is going on? And then they would they like kicked me out of the server, but I was like connecting through Tor. So I just like restarted my Tor circuit and then like connected again. And then eventually they like let me stay on and I like chatted with them and was just like, how's it going? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué tal?
So I think the scoreboard is about to come back. Yeah, it just came back. The fans had also purchased 5 more minutes, so we went a whole 10 minutes down with the scoreboard. I think that was just to mess with the players because no one got points.
Well, no, like Hapael is on now, and also Big is on the scoreboard.
Nice. They were already there though.
Oh, were they? Oh, okay.
I didn't think.
Yeah, we had 6 players. We had Rafael there completing 5 players on the board, and then Big O's with 100 points right before the scoreboard went down.
Got it.
I thought Luska was going to use this opportunity to submit the flag that he said he wanted us to go off his screen so he wouldn't hint other people. So I'm pretty sure he is just freaking sitting on flags right now.
Yeah, Luska is the new Alfonso sitting on flags.
Hopefully I left that stream. I did, but you're in it.
Well, that's okay. Like Luska had the time to do whatever.
Oh, he had his chance.
Yes.
I'm with Wade at the moment. So
what's going on with Wade?
I don't know yet.
Wade's jamming the signal. Oh, okay. So check this out. So Wade is running in Windows, right? And this is really cool to me. This is one of the things that I kind of get reminded of. When I play CTF and when I like do a lot of hacking stuff, I'm just using Kali, and I've used Kali for years. But when I watch UHC, I see the players using all different kinds of stuff. I've seen players using Parrot. I've seen players using Kali. I've seen players doing Windows, which is like what we're looking at right now with Wade. Mm-hmm. And so I love that kind of like reminder that the tools don't make the hacker. The hacker using the tools is like what makes the hacking. And so I love seeing the players use whatever they're most comfortable in. And so like that's like kind of the I always think of like people think like, oh, you have to be like really good at this thing, you know, like at Linux to be a good hacker. And it's like, I mean, maybe if you're hacking Linux, but you can literally use pretty much anything and be successful.
I've got mad respect for anyone who masters PowerShell. So I like seeing things like this. I also see they're using Python 2.7, which honestly, I clung to that. You have no idea. No, I clung. And the reason is because of the .decode base 64, because I'm too lazy to open up CyberChef. And I would rather do the .decode while I have 2.7 up. So literally I have usually 2 screens, one running the new Python and one running 2.7 still.
All right, y'all. Sorry to interrupt you, but our staff is asking us to just have a little bit of quick picture time. They are gonna print screen our screen. Oh, no, this is not the moment.
My drink is empty.
It's okay. You can still participate in the picture. All right, you can do whatever pose you like. You can just make a funny pose or whatever. I'm gonna go for funny.
I'll get a cat.
Oh yes, kitty catty. All right. Saf, if you're ready, we're ready. And here we go.
You did good, bud.
All right, I think they got it. Did they got it?
No, the stream froze.
Jesus fuck. All right. That's enough.
Yeah, +1 to Bose in the chat saying that bytes and strings are the bane of Python. I remember like trying to write exploits in Python when I like started learning Python, and I was like, yeah they're just bytes. Yeah. Like it's shellcode, you know. And it's like, nah, it's not. Like, what do you mean? It's just bytes.
Well, as soon as you brought up shell shock, I was just like, oh, David likes Pearl. So like, just so you know, like I remember Shell Shock.
There was
I know what it was
fierce
written in,
disgust
David.
there.
So
I heard the disgust.
Yeah, no, and Moose is actually completely right. The bot was written in Perl that got pulled down by the shell shock exploit.
Old people things, just old people things.
The shell shock's not that old, but I will
Is it
cop
not?
to being.
I thought. Wait. Isn't Shell Shock from like over 10
it must
years
have.
ago?
No, shell shock was like 2014, I think, something like that.
Was it? Hold on.
Yeah.
Um.
It's no earlier than 2014, I don't think.
Right, it's like 2015.
Oh, hush! I don't need commentary.
Yes! I'm old, but I'm not that old. Come on.
Yeah, but whoever
Now-
wrote it was in Perl, so they were ancient. I'm
Well,
kidding.
I think it was just that, like there was existing payloads that you could just pull down and then load in
2014.
through Perl.
You're right. 2014. Oh,
My brain works.
it feels older than that. Shell Shock feels so much older.
Because COVID lasted a decade.
That's true. He said that COVID lasted a decade. If you didn't hear that screaming from this direction,
I did, yeah.
Yeah,
did
we
you know
can we
that-
can hear him.
of course you can hear him. They can hear you, babe.
Did you know that? Did you know that next week marks 3 years of 2020?
That makes sense. It feels that way. No,
I have a channel at work with just like 2020 and quarantine memes, and there are so many.
we have there's a guy I used to work with. If anybody wants to follow Ridgeback on Twitter, who's an absolute god of things, and we all went into a conference room like 2 years ago and decided to do the holiday hack challenge together, and all of us were hitting it with Python, and we were all happy, and like it was a good time because we liked to do that together. And he was like, "Oh, I solved it." And we look over and we were like, "What the hell did you do?" And he was like, "I code in Perl." It's just like we all fucking lost it. Don't ever besmirch something older than you are. Sometimes it's right. So
my favorite thing with Perl was that you if you looked up how to prevent SQL injection, if you wrote a web app that was in Perl and you looked up how to prevent SQL injection, the advice was incorrect, and it was like the ubiquitous advice. Like this was like 5 pages of Google results, so like how to do prepared statements in Perl, and it was wrong, and you could get SQLi. So just like all Perl web apps, and I remember like doing this and being like, huh, yeah, that looks like it should make sense. And then like testing it and like, nope, that doesn't work. And then like immediately after that, just randomly, someone was like, can you look at this app that I built and like do some testing? And I was like, sure. And it was built in Perl. And I was like, oh, I bet it's vulnerable to SQLi. And sure as shit, it was. Just injections everywhere. I was like, all databases are mine.
that's amazing. And not wrong.
Yeah.
or your base or belong to us.
Yes. All your database are belong to us.
You know what though? Good lesson there. Don't make all your database one database. Make all your database
Also, yes.
databases. Learn from things that I've seen, and I'm not saying any more than that, but learn from things. All your database should never just be one database.
Make all your database Route 53, according to Quinny Pig on Twitter. Right. I am surprised. Still, everybody at 100 points on the scoreboard. Luska in the lead because Luska got there first, a split second before John Rivers. But to me, that means it's anybody's game. And I'm really surprised. Like Git repos are one of my favorite targets for looting and pillaging stuff. I can't tell you how many times I've seen secrets and credentials and really tasty recon tidbits checked into Git repos. And somehow like everybody's still on that first flag. I don't like there should be, I would expect in the Git repos, I would expect to be getting things like new targets to look at, sets of credentials, or in this case, flags, or maybe sets of credentials. I did see some like AWS stuff in there. There was definitely some like AWS IPs and like domain names in there. So there's definitely a attack surface that's been exposed, but I haven't seen anybody really move on it.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's like a secret S3 bucket in this case. But it's remains to be seen. So I'm with you there. I wonder if that, but you know, and sometimes with CTFs like that, this can be a red herring because it depends on when that S3 bucket was exposed, right? So I know we've been working in real world scenarios before where you've got that exposure, but it gets taken down fairly quickly. So we'll see. Somebody might have already found that it's not there, or maybe it is there and they just haven't found it yet. This is where that itch comes in, where I want to play.
Yeah, right.
Right?
You know, a CTF challenge that I haven't seen that I think would be cool with AWS is you can turn on like versioning lifecycle stuff, right, for S3 buckets.
Yes.
So just in the way that we're seeing Git repos right now, you could have like some credential or flag checked in on a previous commit that's like no longer visible, like wherever the head is pointing. You could do kind of the same thing with an S3 bucket. You could have like a file that's got a flag in it in a previous version of an object that's stored in S3. I've never seen that done. I think that would be a really cool CTF challenge.
Oh man, could you think of the layers if you did get then that in S3, and then on the back end of that is a Linux system with plain text passwords and bash history, and like it just keeps going. Like you just nest the plain text, like nest after nest. Like that would be so cool.
Another place I've seen versioning, but I haven't seen anybody do a CTF challenge, is lambdas. You can have different versions of lambdas. Yes. So that would be like an awesome thing as well. Like that would be a great place to put a flag.
That would be really cool, and also take that expertise level up to a new level, because most people aren't really great with the lambdas and that side of AWS. I have literally to date only seen one talk on it, and it was by Bullseye, who's part of the Dallas Hackers Association. So Texas local for you all. But that's the only one I've seen on it so far, and I've seen a couple of war games on it internally, but not externally. In CTFs, I haven't seen much done. So
very cool. Yeah. So just to be clear, I am not signing up to make CTF challenges for UHC. I like to be on this side of the computer.
You're like a seagull. Hey, you know this really cool thing that would be really hard to architect? Whoa.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, it's you. All right. Yeah. I'm like, no.
You're going to hear a lot more cursing in Portuguese as I see your future.
Yes, right. Cacete.
Cacete.
Bo's in the chat talking about all customer information is simply a SQLite database stored as a blob in DynamoDB. That sounds terrifying.
It's not wrong.
I would put it as like a key, an S3 key stored in DynamoDB, and then the SQLite blob is stored as an object in S3, and then there's version control there, and actually the part with the flag and the version of the SQLite database with the flag has already migrated out into Glacier. So now you've got to pull it out of Glacier, and
you just stop with Glacier. Just stop with Glacier. Just stop with pulling it out of Glacier. Unless somebody else is paying the bill, there you go.
Or yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. In this case, it's UHC paying the bill, right? What if? All right, now bear with me here. What if you had the flag and it was on like a storage that you had to get ordered through like Amazon Snowball or whatever it is, where they ship you the cube, and then you have to do forensics and like pull the flag off of like the firmware on the AWS Snowball or whatever.
I have stories about Snowball that I cannot share on this stream, but that's and I'm here to tell you that that's a bad idea. Like, just no.
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 This is not the vector you're looking for.
No. Although I think it's a really good exercise for everyone to try snowballing Glacier at least once.
There you go.
So that you try it and understand.
Unlike meth.
Right, exactly. Meth, not even once.
Meth, not even once. Glacier, snowball, once.
I like all of the different cloud platforms. Like, I like playing in each of them. GCP is really interesting because everything comes out as JSON, and then parsing that is, if you're not used to it, I have seen people cry. I have legitimately seen people cry trying to parse out GCP logs. But I think that GCP has a lot of interesting capabilities as well if you're trying to spin something up, especially on the cheap, because of the functionality there to really interact with it like you would a virtual box, and creating your own VMs there and turning them off and on in a very quick and easy way. So I really encourage everybody to use anything that they're going to put in place within their infrastructure and even go beyond of what else does this company offer. So like if you're going with AWS, yeah, look into Glacier and Snowball. Like if something really bad happens, does your team want to respond with Snowball, or do you want to have another option in place, like to do kind of a similar upload? Like, do you have a data center with a really big up and down rather than, like shipping? Basically what Snowball is, for anybody that's unfamiliar, is they send you a box and you send it back to them, and then they upload and they create it for you. So like if you have a really slow connection and you don't want to, you have limits on your bandwidth or things like that, or you're compromised, that might be a great option for you to have Amazon do it for you. But a lot of times it's speed. So figure out how fast that happens. But really cool to know all the different tools. And I have to appreciate Amazon for its theming in Glacier and Snowball and all of the freezing things in life. And it's very cold in New York City right now. So, once a year, I'm not as appreciative of the names. So.
All right.
Apparently
so yeah, we are entering the late game now, our last hour of the night, with the 6 players still on the scoreboard. So Luska first place with the 100 points, and João, Mateus, Maxin, Rafael, and Vinicius are bigos. All of them following him, all of them with the 100 points. That's the easy flag. So all of them submitted the easy flag. And now they're re-entering our last hour of the championship, our late game. There is a second hint that was bought by the Brazilian fans on the Brazilian Live. And the hint will be online, will be released to all of them very shortly, in just a few seconds. So we might see a sudden change here in their scoreboard.
Yes. And I just want to say, before we completely move off of the AWS Snowball subject, I got to play, I've been very fortunate to play rap shows at DEF CON year after year after year. One year I got to play in front of the like server racks for the DARPA like CTF Cyber Grand Challenge thing, which I thought was like one of my crowning rap music career achievements, that I just started my rap music career a couple hours ago. And one of my other bucket list items, one of my other S3 bucket list items is to play a rap show on top of an AWS or an Amazon snowmobile. And so as Moose mentioned, Snowball is like the box where they ship you the cube, and it's got like some storage on it. Snowmobile is like an entire semi truck with like exabytes of data storage. So I want to rap on like a semi truck data center with exabytes of data storage. And I want to stream my backing music out of those exabytes of data storage. So it would be like, 500 megabytes of MP3s or something, which is nothing.
I want an invite to that, because anyone who grew up watching X-Files with semi-trucks full of machinery and technology, like,
yes.
Like, just I need to be there. Like, that will just fulfill every like 10-year-old fantasy I ever had. That's why I'm here today, is because I watched too much X-Files.
HushCon 2021, you'll see the show happen. It's agreed now.
We will sponsor you. That'd be amazing.
I mean, HushCon is in Seattle. AWS is in Seattle, right? They just pull the truck out of the parking garage at AWS and just bring it over to HushCon. Easy.
Yeah, we could do it that way instead of summer.
The hint is now officially on. We just saw one of the players checking out the hints. So we'll see. In the next minutes, we might have more points.
That's exciting.
I'm looking at Felipe, and it looks like Felipe is kind of building a custom exploit in PHP where they are trying to brute force a token, it appears. I've only just started looking, so I'm not exactly sure on
I've
what it
been
is they're
watching
brute
the
forcing.
same thing where they're going back and forth between the token data and then brute.php, which does look like a custom brute force PHP script, which is very interesting. Not sure what's behind that, but could be fairly effective for if they're going for one of those higher level point amounts, which is an interesting tactic, especially right now with the 100 points on the board. So who knows? I'm not playing, but that's very cool.
And sometimes we talk about like metagaming in the context of the CTF, right? Like if you get a shell somewhere, you do like recursive grep, and you look for any files across the entire file system that might have a flag in it, which I think the prefix is like UHC curly brace or whatever. So like that could be an approach to like get a root shell and then just like grep across the entire box, and you might skip a hop or two in acquiring the other shells or the other flags. Sorry. And so I wonder, like, I don't often see that approach, but I always wonder, like, is that maybe a more effective approach to just kind of like go for the top vantage point or the top level of access and then like dive back down from there?
Well, it does look like one of the flags may be hidden behind an authentication. So that might be part of this as well. I'm seeing the same tactics over from Wade, but using Burp Suite and a couple of different other tools. So really interesting to see from the outside kind of what's being attempted. And some of the denial and failure logs that are coming back from the terminal as a result. So very, very interesting to see this and to see multiple paths in and multiple attempts to try and kind of force their way into that.
Yeah, it's we kind of touched on the subject earlier, but one of the reasons I love CTF so much is seeing how other people approach different problems or different issues, right? And like when I was learning to reverse engineer, and I still do this in CTF, I'll figure out the solution on my own, and I'll write my notes and do my write up. But then I'll go and look at how other people solve this same challenge. And almost every time I learn either a new tool that exists that I didn't know about, a new technique that exists that I didn't know about, or a way to use a tool that I didn't realize was possible. And so I love watching these players figure out their path forward and figuring out new things as they go along.
So speaking of things to figure out going along, I don't speak Portuguese, but I think bugado might be bug.
Yes. Bugado means it has bugs on it.
Okay.
I woke up in a new bugado. No? Okay. Sorry, rap career early.
I know bodega, not bugado.
That was cute, sweetie.
I tried.
Anyway, sorry, Moose.
I was saying that to David.
No, I know I'm not sweetie. I figured
you're marvelous.
Oh, thank you. No, I'm watching the general chat right now, and it says that and Mateos is also having issues with Chrome crashing.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, we've definitely seen where sometimes the players have technical challenges. Like it could be like an internet connectivity issue, or it could be like something with the application on their side, as well as sometimes there are issues with the infrastructure. You have like 10 hackers all going at kind of the same shared infrastructure. So, sometimes things don't work out. I know in recent weeks, they've architected the infrastructure in a way that they have like load balancers, right? So there's like multiple systems that you end up working with behind the load balancer. So it all works out. Oh, are we getting raided by the Brazilians?
Yeah,
What's
I think we
up?
are. What's up, Brazilians? E aí, carai? Chega aí.
Cachaça caralho.
Cachaça, porra. All right, all the Brazilians are coming. Kleber was the one that bought a hint. Kleber foi o cara que comprou a pista, a dica. Everyone welcome. Everyone welcoming Moose. Yeah, we all love you back in Brazil. See, the love is mutual.
You have a whole fan base in Brazil. You had no idea.
That happens.
I just had a few coworkers there, and I loved working with them, and I miss it very, very much. Like I miss them so much, and I still talk about them quite a lot. So hopefully they'll be blushing. Flavia, Denise, if you're seeing this, I love you. You're still my best coworkers. So.
All right. Actually, one person that came in here and I wanted to highlight him is Kadu. All right, here he is, Carlos Krosak. Also, we call him Kadu as well. He is the crazy dude that builds the machines for every week. All the challenges. He is the mind behind most of them, pretty much the majority of them. So that's the dude.
So much respect. Like that's just so hard.
Yeah.
I don't even know how it's possible for twice a week every week.
Yep, that is insane.
No idea.
Yeah.
The guy's a machine, I'm pretty sure.
Alrighty, right. Let's come back here to our screens to check what's going on.
People in the chat, who should we look at? What do y'all want to see?
Yeah, who do you want to see? I saw a bunch of people asking for the number 6. Aw, love you too. That's so sweet.
Mateus Seus, mano de Seus.
Para de falar isso. Stop. That's not. Can't say céu. It's céu. Eu. It's not seu. Jesus.
My trolling just keeps going with the Portuguese. It's amazing.
Hold on. Wait, maybe I can help. A, E, I, O, U. El burro sabe más que tú. Same phonetics.
There you go. Here's some class for you that's been living with a freaking Brazilian, is married to a Brazilian. You know. Might help.
El burro sabe más que tú. It's an old Spanish rhyme for vowels that means the donkey knows more than you do.
Yep.
Yeah.
O burro sabe mais que você.
Yep.
That's the Portuguese.
That's the Portuguese.
I love it.
O burro sabe mais que tu. That's mean. I mean, if you leave, if you put David, if you let him run, alone on a bar, for example, that's his natural habitat. He will ask everything from the menu. He was just start chatting with the waiter. He will have absolutely no problem living, in the bar. But anything else, he is just like he has
I'm a
this
helpless little baby.
freaking stubborn and purposely mispronouncing a bunch of stuff that I try to teach. So I have already given up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's why we have
like
called John Rivers. John Rivers, is that?
right.
Yes.
This is why we have John Rivers.
That's exactly the reason. I was like, João, and he was like, João, David, João. Okay, then John
Wow.
Rivers. Just say John Rivers, and that's
That's
it.
hilarious. Hey, that's okay.
Oh.
That's better. You know what? You're doing better than I am in Hebrew. And in Hebrew, the name Heather doesn't exist because TH doesn't exist. So
no.
you're fine.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I am Moose forever.
All right.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm just happy. Like also in Brazil, like so Marina said you could drop me off at the bar and I would be fine. Pretty much everywhere in Brazil sells liquor.
Yes.
So pretty much everything is
That's
a
a
bar
great
in
place.
Brazil.
Why don't you live there? Like
Because I wouldn't be living anymore. I'd be dead. Like you can buy a bottle of cachaça at the grocery store for under $2, like a full 750 milliliter bottle for under $2.
Yep.
And Marina's like, no, that's the cheap stuff that the old people drank at the bar all day. And I'm like, okay, I'll get the mid range, the nice, cachaça. It's $3 for the bottle.
That's my country. That's what we do.
I'm the old person at the bar that will drink the $2 bottle all day. Like
Yeah,
I'm that person.
I mean, that's okay.
I'll
People will give you respect. People will pay you respect.
But yeah, and one of the times that I went, me and Fuzzy Knop, we were like out at the bar and we decided to bar hop our way back to the hotel. And I think we got back to the hotel like sometime after noon because we were literally just like, oh, this place has liquor. Let's stop in and get a shot. And it was like a U-Haul storage thing that had like Twinkies on one side and then a shelf with liquor above the cashier on the other side. And we'd be like, yeah, like a shot of vodka, please. And they'd be like, okay, like you want a shot of vodka? It's like 7 a.m. We're like, yeah. And then they would give us a shot of vodka and then we'd like walk out and go to the next place, which also next door had a bar. And so it took us like forever to get back to the hotel, but we did make it back safely.
That's the man I married.
As somebody whose liver has been wrecked by you and who knows Fuzzy very well, I'm not shocked at all. Like, I've had your Faderades. I know what you're capable of.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Damn, I forgot about Faderade.
I still have not forgotten about that drink, and ask me why. Because of the day after.
Oh, I was going to say because you didn't get blackout drunk, apparently. If you got blackout, then you would have forgotten about it.
No, I did not get blackout, but it was enough to bring me lots and lots of pain the next day.
For those who are wondering, Faderade is vodka with Gatorade, which is a clear trap.
And Red Bull.
Yeah, and Red Bull, because it's a clear trap because, vodka and Red Bull is already very dangerous by itself. And then by adding the Gatorade, you're giving your body what your body thinks it needs that moment, but it's being completely, trapped by all the freaking vodka and Red Bull also coming in at the same time. So, it's just that kind of the friend that, knocks on your parents' front door and start telling, start saying to them everything they want to hear. Oh yeah, no, we're just gonna have a sleepover, very chill, right? Back at my house, my parents are there.
It's just a pool party. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's nothing much. And it actually, in reality, everyone's just, escaping through the back door and, skinny dipping and then getting shit faced and doing body shots and shit. So that's what happens on a Faderade.
No, I think you all are being too harsh. It is a balanced approach to life. It is a mix of responsibility and irresponsibility. You get your uppers and your downers, and you get your dehydration and your rehydration. It's basically like the Matrix, where he says, It's a single-celled protein combined with synthetic aminos, vitamins, and minerals. Everything the body needs.
Does anybody remember what happened when we ran out of Gatorade? Oh
No.
I have no idea.
We don't remember. Here, Moose. Here's the Faderade. Oh, we ran out of Gatorade, so I just added more vodka. But we had Red Bull. Here you go. That's what happened.
Seems legit.
I did worse than 80.
What was that?
I don't know what that was, but I'm afraid to ask.
I said I've done worse than 80.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
done with the 80. Yeah.
This is true.
That's accurate. Yeah.
Hey, one time
future
giving
Hush
a
Cons.
presentation.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
future Hush Cons will get even. Don't worry. And by
Oh.
even, I mean I'll regret the next morning just as much as you will.
Perfect. Yeah, I definitely had a presentation that I gave, and I requested from the event coordinators for them to interrupt my presentation at least 3 times to have Fuzzy Nop come up on stage and have a drink with me, but to not tell anybody that that was my request, just to for it to happen. And when I wrote this request, the intent was for Fuzzy Nop to come up on stage, and we would just cheers, and we'd take a sip of whatever drink that we had. But the event coordinators just were bringing shots.
Yep.
And so I believe that there were 6 shots done in a very short time period. And then I know. Can you imagine? And then I still had to give the presentation and play a rap show. It was quite the day.
It's okay. I'm sure you did fine comparatively to some other rap shows I've seen. So
it was not a complete train wreck. And I feel like in that particular instance, I performed above average because I was like, this has to be good. I can't get derailed by all the shots that were involuntarily served to me during my presentation. I have to make this good. And I mean, granted, it's kind of a bias on my part, but I thought I did pretty well.
I have done the same thing with the violin, except for one instance. Because as a musician, you get that tunnel vision of, I'm going to perform now, and things are going to be fine. And it's very sobering. Our friend of ours, David Moon, was able to shake me from that pedestal and completely wreck me with soju, which I didn't realize is dangerous because it's so sweet. You don't see it coming, so you don't know how much you've had. But I've learned as a musician now, you just say yes to whiskey and you say no to shoju, and you're going to be fine. So, but I'm sorry that they did that to you, although I'm sure it was a hell of a show.
All right, y'all. We have now one more player in a scoreboard, and it's Wade with 100 points.
Yes.
So Wade finally joined us here on the scoreboard. We have now 7 players. Luska still in first place with the 100 points. Everyone has the easy flag. We already had, the hint from the medium flag already distributed to all the players. So, and we are now approaching our last 30 minutes of the night. We are approaching late game. So, yeah, I don't know I don't know what's going on. We know for sure that Luska was probably sitting on flags and haven't submitted yet. I don't know if he's playing Afonso here and holding on to flags until he has root, but
maybe
it looks like Luska is working on something. I just saw in the terminal that they had Metasploit up, and it looks like there's a Metasploit module for October, which we saw folks looking up. It seems like the CMS that's being used in the CTF. And so Luska here in the bottom left of Terminator, it looks like, has the Metasploit module for an upload bypass exec. So it seems like maybe the module allows you to do a arbitrary file upload and then execute it, which, given the context of a web application, I'm asserting it's place a PHP file and then make a GET request to it. But we might catch Luska catching a shell here. And in the top right, Luska's got ngrok up. ngrok, favorite tool for CTFs, allows you to catch reverse shells and connections across the internet even if you're behind like a router or whatever that's got a NAT, you don't have to worry about figuring out the networking, and Grok figures it out for you.
It does. It's a great tunneling tool. And then it looks like for you, we'll just call him Matt. Matt is in the chat saying that the load balancer might be giving them some trouble. It looks like a lot of them are hitting it all at once and that they're getting 503 errors. So that's posing some problems for some players. But interesting that Luska has ngrok up, and that, you know, the theory is that maybe if you can do a post with a PHP and execute that on the other side, especially with seeing Wade very most recently, who just posted the points for the 100 points with the PHP brute force file, you might have some exploitable points there just within PHP itself. So would be interesting to see where the 200 and 300s come up if they come up here shortly.
Yeah. Those with a really cool question in the chat asking, how often have you done a pen test and needed to actually perform a binary exploit like a buffer overflow or some other kind of like memory corruption? And for me, like hardly ever. Very rare that I would use any kind of exploit. Mainly, I find some other way around, and I can find like some authentication mechanism that's single factor. I find like credential reuse. I find the ways that the systems talk to each other as intended in the environment. There's like Jenkins and the credentials are stored in a config file, or there's Jenkins and there's remote code exec or whatever, right? But all the systems are architected to talk to each other in some way. So I just need to find that path to get to my objective. And it very rarely involves using some kind of memory corruption exploit.
I would agree with that. And I would say that buffer overflow is still one of the harder things that you can do. And as such, I think that OSCP, the hard box in OSCP, is still the buffer overflow box. So, which is interesting to note. So is it viable to study still and figure out how to do that? Absolutely. I think that there's definitely potential to know how to do that if you can't find another way in. But I'll say as well, most commonly on a pen test, what we're asked for by clients is to find exposure and to find ways in that their users would fall for. So that comes in two factors of, do we have ports exposed that we don't know are exposed? And it's kind of like looking at the network infrastructure, and then phishing are the two top, I would say, still. And I don't know if you see that as well, but that's kind of what I see.
Yeah, my general approach is to really like front load everything on the recon side. I kind of think of things as sort of like trust zones. And like as I move into an environment further and further, my risk of detection increases, right? So like once I'm like poking at a production database, like if there's a production database that drives the business, I would expect a lot of monitoring to be there, a lot of visibility on that, on what's happening with that production database, which means any action that I take, any packet that goes on the wire, any command that I run, that's more likely to be seen by somebody. Whereas if I'm on the outside looking in, I haven't even breached the perimeter yet. If I'm like looking up results on Shodan, or I'm just, I'm looking for like email addresses, or I'm looking at the public github.com repo check-ins, and I'm doing recon against all these public services that are not the target infrastructure, I don't even know if it's possible to get telemetry on that as like the target, right? Like if I'm, we'll just say like I'm salesforce.com, can I even see what people are doing when they're looking at repos that I've published up to github.com? Like I don't know if there's any, visibility to be had there. And so for me as the attacker, I try to operate as much as I can on the outside, not even touching the target infrastructure until I feel like I have enough data, whether it's like compromised credentials from previous database breaches or whatever, that I can then start to move effectively on the inside without making too much noise. And that's just kind of like my approach to things.
There's also too, like knowing once you're in, knowing what you're gonna alert. So that's a really good point too, is being able to run recon without being noticed. Who am I? Some things that are very low and slow. figuring out what kind of box you're on and what processes are running. So from that, you can usually tell what kind of AV or EDR infrastructure that they have, and then you know what you can get away with. So I've seen groups that regularly use Cobalt Strike not use Cobalt Strike because they'll get into an environment where they know that it's going to be caught. And so they'll go through a different tactic altogether. And I think that the recon step and all of this digging that we're seeing even our participants do is probably the most important part to know, okay, where can I hit them where it hurts? And that's where we're going to see our next flags come from, probably.
Yep. And on that note, kind of like pulling back out of the environment, one of my favorite ways to do recon and think about how or figure out what I'm going to face in terms of detection on the inside is to look at job postings, right? If I see somebody and they post like, yeah, you need experience with like Symantec Endpoint Manager or like whatever it's called, right? Now I know exactly what they're running. I know that they're going to be running that particular product. And so that like gives me a heads up that like, okay, cool. I need to make sure like that whatever I'm going to do doesn't get picked up by that particular facility.
Yep. And looking up, if you can't find a job posting, looking on LinkedIn for their SOC analysts and seeing what they post in their bullet points. So they'll put it there if they don't put it in a job posting.
Yeah, absolutely. I love seeing folks that say like, I've got, I work at this employer and I've got 2 years of experience with this particular application or this technology. I'm like, yep, then that's what you're running inside of your organization. Yeah, excellent point. Okay, so who are we looking at right now, Marina? We're looking at Rafael?
Yep. Yes.
And also for the English viewers, R's sometimes in Portuguese are pronounced like an H. So like you might say Rafael, but in Portuguese pronounced Rafael. And unlike Spanish, where double R's are like a hard R rolling sound, it's an H sound in Portuguese. That trips me up quite a bit. So it looks like Hafa is running Hashcat here on the right side. I'm curious as to what they're cracking.
It looks like they were doing some hash recon beforehand, that they were looking at a string of code that they were trying to figure out what that went to. And they were just Googling John the Ripper as well. So they might be trying a dictionary attack here shortly too, to try and crack a hash there that's going to allow them to authenticate. So it looks like the participants might be coming against an authentication wall here that's limiting them from getting into the next step.
Oh yeah. I just saw in like a text editor there. It looked like a bcrypt hash, and I guess I see on the right side in Hashcat, it looks like they're targeting bcrypt. And so I guess as you mentioned, they're pulling down. It looks like wordless, and I don't know. Like my go-to wordless in CTF is always RockU. It seems to be like a favorite among CTF authors, and this is kind of more like gaming the game, right? Figuring out like what does the author intend, and then kind of shortcutting the process. But yeah, I've definitely also seen like people will use lesser known wordless as part of like the path. So like I generally go like RockU, and then if I don't get any hits with RockU, I'll go like dark code. And I've seen I generally just kind of like work my way through Daniel Miessler's or Messler's, I think it's Miessler's, sec lists GitHub repo. And so Daniel's got a collection of word lists that are all free. You can just clone it out of GitHub. And then they're kind of categorized. So like there's like content discovery and fuzzing, and then like database dumps and password lists. And so I kind of like work my way through those.
There's also a few that have been published recently that aren't bad to go through, that are like the most, and it depends on how tricky your CTF builder is, right? Of the most popular passwords. And so if they really want to mess with you, maybe it's something like spring, fall, winter 2020, exclamation point, which by the way is still a thing that everybody does. So things like that are really interesting when you see it happening in the wild.
Right, y'all. We are now in the last 30 minutes of tonight's match.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's like the decisive moments here. It's where whoever's sitting on flags has like this really small time to finish the root flag. It might be, the chance for some people who are holding or finishing the mid flag to have an advantage right now, because the last 30 minutes is just pure pressure, right? if you like you either finishing a flag now, or you should be reviewing your strategy to see how could you influence the scoreboard, or how you can make your way here on the CTF, because as right now things are looking really like anyone's game. We do know that Luska might have a flag right there. I don't know if he's like going if he's going for the root and sitting on a flag, or if he was not right about the flag that he thought he had. We have João, who already played a few matches before, and then everyone else kind of is a newcomer. But Wade, in the last place with 100 points, the easy flag, is not a newcomer. He is actually a veteran. So kind of anyone's game here. I don't know. I don't even know if I could bet. Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe Luska, because he's been on the lead for so long.
It could be so close too, because of if there is that authentication wall there, and you've got multiple players who are running cracking algorithms against a hash that they already have, how quick is that going to finalize? How simple is that hash? What are they up against? I'm not really sure, but I've seen a couple of people go at it now, and it's really kind of like you're working against the clock when you're trusting a piece of software to crack for you. So it was interesting being in Hafa's chat and watching his screen, seeing the different techniques there. Yes, has Hatchcat running, but is not going to put all of his points against that, and is simultaneously looking up other solutions. So I'm wondering who's going to get there first. Also seeing, I hopped into Wade's chat now, and it looks like they're in GitHub looking up YAML scripts, which is very interesting. And just catching up now. Yeah, I would love to see the other side of this and see the questions and kind of what they're up against, because this looks like a really interesting puzzle.
I have no idea what the challenges are. We would actually have to have access to the
No, I like
the
it better
platform itself.
I can speculate and be dumb.
But for those out there who are watching us and are also curious about like what's the resolution, what's the answer to the flags, at the end we're all gonna join the Brazilian live, and we're gonna interview the winner. So we're gonna have all the flags explained, all the challenges explained, not only by the winner's perspective, the player's perspective, but also from the organizer himself. So Kadu is also going to be there with us, checking, not checking, but, sharing how he built the challenges and what were the resolutions. So please stay with us, and we're going to just raid everyone here from our English channel to the Brazilian one. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to click nothing. Just bear with us, and in 30 minutes, I mean, now almost 20 minutes, we're probably gonna have a winner. I don't think anyone's gonna get root at this point. Maybe Luska, but as soon as we're finished, we're just gonna rate a Brazilian live stream, and we're gonna interview the winner. If the winner doesn't speak English, that's not a problem. We're gonna translate it, so we're gonna have like a bilingual live there.
Yeah, and I've got to say, just watching everybody run through this and all of the problems, that they seem up against. This does not seem to have been an easy CTF, and I've seen them try everything and the kitchen sink, and really trying now. It looks like it looks like there are some security tokens in the way of them doing what they need to do. So there's no such thing as failure in these things. The more that you try different solutions, the more that they're learning, and the more that honestly I'm learning by watching them. Just because there's never a wrong answer. It's just that the last answer that you put in is the right one, because that's what gets you the flag. So, but all of these tools that they've been using tonight and everything they've been doing research wise has been very viable and very intelligent, actually, in looking at all of it.
Yeah, I love watching the players work through things. And, I always think about this kind of like in the sense of a job interview, right? Like in job interviews, I don't really care if you get to the right answer. I care about how you work through the problem that's being presented. And so that's kind of like the same thing with here in the CTF, right? We see the players taking all these different approaches and these different tactics, and they don't know like what the challenge is. We don't know what the challenge is either. So we don't know what the answers are, and we're just kind of like figuring out as we go along. And that's I always enjoy that aspect of CTF in general. It's like it's like a puzzle that you try a number of solutions to, and maybe you find one that works.
Yeah, I am also there with you. I had also interviewed a bunch of people, and always like my dynamics with the people that I'm interviewing is that I want to understand how their brain works. I'm not interested in how if you're gonna solve a problem or not. I am interested in how you're gonna approach that. I'm interested in how you're gonna build your own process. How are you gonna deal with frustration, with failure, with realizing maybe you didn't have the right answer at the end, because maybe there is no right answer at the end. It's just different ways of doing something. And that's what I think it's like most valuable. And that's pretty much a hacking mindset. So in the hacking mindset, the final objective, it's just not a thing. You're there for the ride. You're there for the journey. You're there for the learning process of it. What you get in the end, that's nice, that's cool, but that's a bonus. That should not be why you're hacking anything, because hacking is about the process. Hacking is literally to understand how something works and to learn how to compromise that, to learn how to subvert that, and for that you gotta have to be there for the journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's maybe the primary reason why I love hacking so much. There will always be something for me to learn, something new for me to try, something for me to figure out. And I understand people that burn out, and I get that. Like it can be super frustrating to like go hack a client, and you spend a bunch of time figuring out all these vulnerabilities that the client has, and you put a lot of energy into like writing a report and telling them how to fix these problems, and then you come back in a year and all those same problems exist, right? That's got to be super frustrating. But for me, I love that if I come back in a year and all those same problems exist, that's fine. Like for me personally, can I go find some other problems? Can I learn something new? When I like started doing like web application hacking, I was building web apps at the time. So I would like build an application for a client, and then I would go research what attacks are happening on web applications right now. And then I'd take those attacks and I'd try them against my application that I just built for this client. Did it work? If it did, like, how did it work? What was actually going on? And then how do I fix my code that I built? I love that cycle of just kind of improving over and over and over. And that to me is probably the most endearing aspect of hacking, is like there's always something new for me to learn. There's always some way for me to improve, some way that I can be better. And I'm always excited about that.
Yes, I love in hacking. I just love the element of surprise, kind of
Yes.
of like I love the fact that no matter how much you study, there's always gonna be something under the mat that you never dreamed of. It's gonna be a weird monster. It's gonna be a shiny jewel. It's gonna be a huge problem or a new path that you never thought about. And that's the thing I love the most in hacking is that element of surprise of like it's just a surprise, motherfucker. You didn't expect it, right? And I just
Yes, I
love
did not
that.
expect that.
It's like just a mind blown, a constant mind blow, and that can be. I know that's not for everyone. I know people often prefer the comfort zone. Some path that they already know. They like to be good at what they do at all times, or to excel at all times. And in hacking, there's no such thing. Failure is part of the success. The success. Failure is, it's beautiful actually. Failure is like sometimes what you aim for because you gotta find out what's wrong, everything that's wrong, because that's part of the solution. And if you don't study your own mistakes, if you don't study other people's mistake, you're not going to learn how to subvert that. You're not going to learn how to hack a process. And for me, that's everything. That's the most fun thing about it. It's just like to be surprised at all times.
Absolutely. I love that you brought up the like handling failure part, and Moose, you brought that up earlier as well. And I think that's like such an amazing aspect. And on that note, I actually want to give a shout out to IPSEC, because IPSEC will take the time with his or their hack the box videos to go down wrong paths. Like they've already solved the box previously, so it would be like nothing for them to walk through and just be like, "Yep, you do this, and then A, B, C, and like bam, there are the flags, and you win." But IPSEC takes the time to go down and be like, I try this, like, oh, that didn't work. I tried this other thing, like, that's not working. Why isn't that working? And like digging into like why it doesn't work. To me, that is like really the value in like all of this like hacking and CTF stuff, is figuring out A, like what's going on, and B, like how do I deal with the failure to then like iterate and move past it.
I'm so glad you mentioned IPSEC. I wonder sometimes how it must feel to be mentioned like that, because I've never dropped this online, so I'm saying it here first. Like I've said this before. I stand on the shoulders of giants. People will come to me and they're like, "But you know so much," and like Swift on
Yeah.
security regularly will be like, "Oh, go talk to Moose for your DFIR stuff," and I'm like, "Knock that shit off because I don't know anything."
Yeah.
But
Dog science.
legitimately, like I have this imposter syndrome still, to where I'm just like, I don't know how I got to here, but what I'll always say is I stand on the shoulders of giants, and IPSEC is one of them, where there were days where I would just go and watch the videos and watch and learn from we're going to try this. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, this is why this didn't work. And like the talking through like that stream of consciousness of this is why these things work, and it's the why behind everything that I think really clicks things into place. And like even watching this, we're speculating a lot as narrators on the stream of, okay, what could they be doing, and going back and forth of they could be doing these things because they're looking at these tools. But really, I'm really looking forward to this next like 15 minutes or so after they've completed and the debrief, and really talking to them of what was your process here, because I guarantee it, we did not do it justice with how brilliant they had to be walking through these steps and where their mind had to go from step to step, because it's definitely a process that rarely gets spoken about.
Absolutely. And I love hearing the players' mentality, like about how they thought about things. And what's always wild to me is that so many UHCs happen that a player will look at some weird thing and be like, oh, like I'll just try this, and it works. And I'm like, man, I never would have thought to try that. I think last week, one of the challenges, there was like a JWT, and then there was like a SQL injection inside one of the aspects of the JWT. And I'm like, I never would have thought to try like getting a SQLi inside the JWT, and like somehow the players figured that out. And I'm like, how did you get to that point? Like I would have gone off in a completely different direction and totally missed all of that. So I really appreciate seeing like what the players are doing, what they're thinking about, how they're working through it.
Are
What's
you all
up?
watching the screen right now?
I am watching Marina's screen.
I don't know if Marina hopped out or not. She might have. That's good. That's good.
Are you watching Luska?
I am.
All right.
Is he submitting flags?
No. But I see the first success for authentication, and I am so excited right now.
Oh,
So I'm just not gonna give away anything, and probably we should bounce to another screen just in case something sensitive is happening there. But I saw authentication success, and let me tell you, my heart skipped a beat because that is the thing that I want to see as a red teamer of that success. So
yes. Yeah, I definitely know that feeling, and I appreciate that feeling, and also good on you for respecting the player's ability to conceal their flags. I'm looking at my favorite name for players.
I already knew where you were.
oh my god.
Go for it. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it.
So, wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
You know, and I do appreciate like the sound of it. São Paulo.
You see, you know, that's the thing that's.
How do you say?
You know how to do it.
I think
Portuguese?
it's more of an awe though,
Paulo.
like Sao Paulo,
Paulo.
like ow, like not wow, like
yeah. The first one is São. The second one is not São Paulo.
São Paulo.
There you go.
Pão.
Ah,
Bread. Pão.
I'm learning so much. I like.
You're learning that the reason that I'm learning Portuguese is to troll Marina.
That's
oh, I my God.
Like in Portuguese, if you have like something that's cute, it's like bonito, right? Like just like in Spanish.
Same as Spanish.
And if it's like a little cute thing, it's like bonitinho.
Oh, really?
So just like the cito suffix.
Okay,
in
not
Spanish, right?
bonito, it's bonachino.
Bonitinho. Yeah.
It's an NHO.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But when I shake my little butt, it's burichinho.
That's amazing.
Oh boy.
That's okay. We need to start like this support group, just you and I, of learning new languages to troll our other halves because I'm doing that with Hebrew right now. So
Perfect. Yes. I mean, we're hackers. What do you expect?
Exactly.
Did you expect otherwise? Because if so, you have mismanaged your expectations.
That's accurate.
Oh, sweet mother of God.
I know now. Is there a new
sorry.
one?
No, but the scoreboard just went down because we are now on the last 10 minutes of tonight's match.
Here come the flags dumping.
Yep.
Everybody's like.
So if anyone was holding flags, now's the time because scoreboard is down and now we don't know what's actually happening.
Okay, so also on my UHC bucket list, this has not happened yet, but I've always wanted for somebody to not be on the board at all the entire time. And we don't pay attention to them. We're like looking at the normal suspects, the usual suspects. And then the scoreboard goes off and then they submit all the flags.
Yes.
That would be like the most incredible plot twist.
Man, this board is not happy. I can't access anyone's screen.
I think the players have figured out like how to jam the signal on Discord, right? They're like jam the signal on the tractor beam.
I'm watching one right now, and I won't out him, but I can see what they're
I will. Mateo says.
Yes, I'm seeing what he's saying with the load balancer and issues there. Very hard time loading and trying different session tokens. So but that's one tactic, right? Doing it through the UI, and trying in this way. So seeing different methodologies being used, and each one is as viable as the next. So this is.
I always comment to the CTF creators that I think it's so evil to have a load balancer in a CTF, because what you see on the player side is like, oh, you get something, right? You get like a file upload. So you're like, okay, like I dropped my web shell, and then you go to connect to your web shell, and it's not there. You're like, oh yeah, like int80.php, I successful upload, I'm good. And then you like do a curl, or like in your browser, you request int80.php, and it's like 404. I'm like, what do you mean? I just put the file there. How is it not there? It's like, oh, it's a load balancer. Like it's on a different instance somewhere. It's like, oh my gosh, like, are you kidding me? I was like, that's such an evil approach for CTF. But I get it on the architect side. You need to have multiple instances running so that all the players aren't just like destroying and wreaking havoc on one instance. Yes, and in the chat, CK Darby, you're right. Having a load balancer is closer to real life. Absolutely, right? In AWS, you can do application load balancers. You can do the network load balancers. That is for sure. Like that's how you scale infrastructure in one way. It's for definitely real life for high availability. But in a CTF, come on, so hard. No, I'm just kidding.
It is hard. We do that to the students though. Well, some regions. I work with a particularly evil, wonderful, genius, love him to death friend named Gavin, who helps with. Well, he basically is the guy for Southwest CCDC, and he definitely puts it in there. And everything you could think that would be in there would be in there. But that's also to protect them, the load balancer, from people like me who decided to run through all of the Kali tools as a checklist because I had not done it before. And I was like, ping of death. Blah. And I got yelled at because he was like, you're not supposed to be doing that. And I was like, it felt like something to do.
You can't tell me how to play CTF. I get to play CTF on my own rules.
Right, exactly. And I was like, did it work? And he was like, yes. And now I have to rebuild. And I was like, but it worked.
Yeah. I mean, the players are going to do whatever the players want to do, right? As a CTF author, you should construct the challenges so that they can withstand whatever the players throw at it. And obviously, like I think we have a rule in UHC that you can't like DDoS or DOS like other players out. Which like as a CTF player, I'm like, yeah, like let me get in and then like, patch a vulnerability or like put a firewall rule in that like, blocks other players. Let me do something that like inhibits the other player's forward motion. But that's apparently not okay in this context.
No, it is not. You cannot attack the infrastructure and you cannot attack other players as well.
That's good.
Rude. No, I disagree.
Yeah, in the real
Free
world,
for all.
we see. I can't tell you how many cases I've worked of live cases where I'm like, oh, there's more than one threat actor in here, and the other one that gets in second kicks the first one out.
Yep.
And I'm just like, oh, well, this is a fun fight to watch.
Yeah, and how many times have we seen like worms that patch a vulnerability?
Yes.
Right? They don't actually do anything malicious. I mean, technically it could incidentally be malicious, but they patch a vulnerability to keep people out. Like it's a thing. It happens.
It is. It's very interesting when it does too.
All right, y'all. We are now reaching our final minutes. We have 3 minutes to go. That means we are probably going to start our raid to the Brazilian channel pretty soon. So if you have stayed with us tonight, please stay with us a little bit longer because we are going to raid the Brazilian live stream and we're going to interview tonight's winner. I'm betting on Luska because he was leading the scoreboard so far. But it's honestly, so many people got points. We had 2 hints tonight. And I don't know. I'm gonna say Luska, but we'll see in a few minutes. We're gonna be there in 2 minutes. So bear with us. If you don't speak Portuguese, that's not a problem at all. We're just gonna raid the other channel, so you don't have to do anything. You don't have to click nothing. You're gonna be automatically transported there, and we're gonna join their lives in just a few minutes, and we're gonna interview the winner, and we're gonna understand what were the challenges, how did they solve it, and we're gonna hear from the challenges creator what was the solutions there as well. We're gonna do that in both languages, Portuguese from Brazil and English. So bear with us and just stay with us till the end because it's super worth it.
I just want to say I love that there is a skull in the shell prompt. Like my life is incomplete because I don't have that. I need this. I have to go back and change my PS1 now. Moose.
Yes.
Who do you think is going to come out on top? We can't see the scoreboard. Marina thinks Luska is going to come out on top. Who do you think?
I'm really thinking it's going to be Luska, or I was looking at that was the feed that I was looking at where I was watching and going, I think that Wade was doing very well. I also think Maxim was doing well for a while there. It's really anyone's game. Just if anybody's been sitting on any flags, but I think it might be Luska.
Nice.
Hoffa as well, though. Like, and this is where I'm just really up in the air.
All right, y'all, we're gonna find out just in a few moments. So stay with us. We are rating the Brazilian channel, and we'll see you in the Brazilian live.
Yeah, and folks in the chat, let us know who you think is going to pull it out as well. Nobody asked me, but if I could just really quickly, I'd like to put my wager in. I am going to go with Mateus Seus Deus Manu de Seus.
Jesus Christ. All right, y'all. Thank you.
Every time you both do that, it's a prayer. Like,
all right, let's go.
All right, let's go. We'll see you in the other live. Please stay with us.
Bye,
see you in a few.